Okay, it is 6:30, I'm going to call the meeting of the Lunenburg Board of Assessors to order. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded over the Lunenburg Public Access channel on Facebook Live on the Public Access Facebook page, which is https://www.facebook.com/lunenburg-cable-157-427-270-975-305/. The recording can be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel after the meeting. The meeting is being held in person at the Ritter Building, lower floor. Members of the public are welcome to attend this in-person meeting. We don't see any at the moment. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public, the meeting will not be suspended nor terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcast unless otherwise required by law. Members of the public with particular interest in a specific item on this agenda should make plans for in-person versus virtual attendance accordingly. For remote attendance from a computer, please use the link. I'll read it off to you. It's the Zoom meeting is https://us02wb.zoom.us/j/817765836338 ? Meeting ID is 817-7658-3638 and the passcode is 612808. On the telephone, dial toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID, which I just read. I'll do it again, 817-7658-3638 #. If you're not registered with Zoom, you'll be asked your name and email address. No participant ID is required. Please just press the # when asked. Telephone users may dial *9 to request to speak after joining the meeting. Computer and app users may just use the raise hand feature to request to speak. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by public meeting law, open meeting law. We'll call us to order. Because we are televising this, we should introduce ourselves. I'm Brian LaFawn, Chair.
John Maddox.
Linda McQuaid.
Sarah Cameron.
Rena Squeezy.
Any opening comments from the board? Stuff that's not on the agenda.
Right. I had the opportunity to basically think about going over our calendar of schedules. And I know that last year we did a conference. It was a little bit later, but I thought that the opportunity to do a conference just after we mail the tax bills is the right thing to do, would be the right thing to do. Because essentially we can, as part of this conference, we could go over the exemptions with folks. We could do the deferral piece. We could also, your house wall, the wall of homes and stuff, that was an amazing hit last year. You remember the thing that built? Sales wall, yeah. That was an amazing hit last year, and I think we want to build another one no matter what. But if we could do all that and put together the conference and give us people a chance to ask about abatements right up front, and then potentially offer some sort of a little help session on any of the questions, we'll be ahead of the game, and that way we're reaching out and trying to assist the community as much as we can, and it'll knock down a lot of questions, hopefully before they go through those abatement processes. I think about the mass abatements that we got a couple of years ago, and what they did is they put together conferences with people, invited them all in, and they all filled out the forms together. And I'm not suggesting we fill out the forms, but
We can't do that.
we can't do it for them, but we can certainly make it available to them at this conference and ask if they understand any of the pieces, and if they want any help, that we'd be available to answer questions if they should come up. All I'm saying is I'm trying to create an outreach to the community that is probably the most vulnerable, and at the same time, it would be consistent with what we've done in the past to try and have an outreach. So
Just a question.
I would like to propose that I have permission to go ahead and start working on that. I've put a call into Sue Doherty to see if anything, what she's thinking, but that's as far as I've gotten. I had to wait till this meeting to get permission to do it.
My question was going to be, is that the conference that you held down at the senior center? And you just answered the question by mentioning Sue. We could do another session down there, I guess. I'm not sure
They love you
how
guys.
extensive it should be, but something fairly brief, I think. We could do that like last year.
Probably could, because you're gonna, hopefully things get changed at town meeting.
Correct.
So your exemption's fine, but as far as real estate abatements, I'd stay away from that.
Yeah.
So the
Okay.
timing of such a conference, have you proposed a timing yet?
I'm thinking that when the bills are going out in December, right?
Well,
Yeah, but you're talking their exemptions?
Yeah.
They have to have the exemptions back by April 1st.
Right. So if
We did it like in March before.
That's correct.
Yeah.
If we put these out, get the bills right out there, and then offer this kind of help right after that, that's going to reduce some of the anxiety that they might be having, and the timing will be right, and therefore we might be able to knock down some of the abatements, or we may actually increase them, I don't know. But yeah, the timing, just after we get the taxes out, try and schedule something in earlier January.
Mr. Chair, should this perhaps be an agenda item?
well, we'll add it to the next agenda. This
Okay.
was an open item for discussion, but yeah, this is
Yeah, I'm just
just
seeking permission.
public,
Is there
this is
any,
comment.
I
So-
don't have an issue with it, I just,
Okay,
Probably
no,
should be an
you're right,
agenda.
you're right.
Right.
I just needed to think, oh, we gotta get this in here.
Well, I think because it's exemptions, we should.
They should be
There'd be no
separated.
relation to abatements, because
Right.
we can't
Should
do
be two
that.
separate.
So
Okay,
I would say maybe we're gonna start getting busy with abatement season after February 1st, so if you wanted to do it
During January?
late January.
okay.
So we can we can put this on the agenda for the next meeting,
Okay.
which is the 20th. We can talk about the particulars, what we want to have there, when we're going to have it, make whatever arrangements we need to make. I think the board is happy to have you follow up with the
Okay.
senior center, if that's okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other comment from the board? Hearing none. Is there anyone on Zoom today? I don't see any hands in the air, so I'm calling for public comment. Seeing none, we're going to move on.
We need the screen reader.
Still nothing. Okay, good. Good. Status report from the principal assessor.
As you know, we've been very busy, got a lot done. We've had our interim values approved as of October 24th. And I gave each one of you a packet with the LA4 and the LA4 comparison report, the LA13, which has uploaded, and a copy of our approval from the Department of Revenue with the dates we were approved, and a copy of our tax classification.
Is that this packet?
No.
What packet is it? What is this?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She ended up with the agenda,
Yeah.
we had a copy of the agenda as well.
I didn't get a copy of the agenda. I have mine.
Yeah, I did too.
How can I make a copy for the chair? Yeah.
he has one.
I have one.
I can
Oh,
grab
Okay,
mine.
that's what,
Thank you.
Are you gonna be able to do this without the copy, show the copy?
Yeah, I mean, here, if you want to take it.
Wait, no, I can grab mine already.
Oh, you should.
No, let me have Rena's.
Okay.
We'll be
That's
all set.
covered.
Okay.
Good.
So, yeah, so, I don't know if you have any questions on any of this. Our values of single-family homes went up 5%, and you can see that on page 2 of the LA4 comparison, or page 1 of the LA4, which is the second page of the packet. It has a breakdown of the condos, all the way through commercial, industrial,
this is commercial residential.
Okay.
the evaluation were at 5%. How does that compare to the last prior years? Is there in there?
Yeah.
Okay, assessed value of 2025, 24.
These reports are available to us
Yeah,
online.
they are on
too.
Gateway.
Okay,
so-
26, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go. I just hoping we can go to get four.
So I did see that you showed the valuation changed by the various
Classes.
Classic.
classes.
This is
Thank you.
great.
But the total, what's the total?
The total parcels or the?
No, the total valuation change for everything. I see it by class, but I don't see a summary of all the classes.
It breaks it down in separate classes.
But
Um,
somewhere there must be a
Yeah,
comparison to last year, we'll be able to say.
if you go to page 3 of
Yeah, it's
the
the
LA4 comparison,
We've got a page that's comparison, and it's by, again, by classes.
yeah.
I got the one by classes, but what's the total? Total. Is that at the bottom? Is it at the bottom? Okay, sorry.
It's okay.
I just didn't see it when I looked at the report last time.
So it looks like it was a
5.3,
percent increase, yeah, from last year.
residential went up 5.0, so, okay, so
Yeah.
other things went up more. That's really what I was looking for.
Commercial was 7.7.
Yep.
Industrial, yeah.
Yeah, and the other question I had, I did look at this earlier, it was that, why did the the agricultural and forest, why did they drop so heavy?
No, that's the chapter land.
Chapter land,
We get
61, 61A.
every year, we get from the Farm Bureau,
Right?
we get the valuations of what, if you have hay,
Yeah.
how much it is per acre.
Oh, okay.
If you have cranberries, how much it is per acre. If you have field crops, that comes right from the Department of Agriculture. We take those numbers and plug them into our system.
Right.
So they come right from the Farm Bureau, Department of Agriculture, every
Wow.
year.
So farmlands become less expensive or less valuable. That's how much.
That's the value of the crop on the land, right? Is that what
It's
you
the
just said?
land values.
It's the land value.
And it's done by, you have below average, average, and above average, depending on where you are in the state.
Right. And then recreational was only at 1%.
Yep.
And then mostly it's residential, okay.
So progress,
Yeah, good job. Good job.
in the face of delays and late stuff,
Yeah.
progress.
Yes, we are not delaying at this point. I haven't got all the information in Gateway from the finance director, so unfortunately, we don't know the levy. That's kind of difficult to compile. I did a presentation, but it's difficult to compile what the
If I
tax
could
rate will be.
address that just a little bit, there are difficulties with the data that's in Munis,
Still.
and the finance director was working on it on, was it Tuesday? But then he was going off to a conference for the remainder of this week. Monday's a holiday, so no further data will be changed until at least Tuesday of next week. Hopefully by then, there is a ticket for the fix in Munis, but hopefully by then Munis will be fixed. Otherwise, the 19th is at risk, in my opinion.
Well, Carter was hoping that we could have a tax rate by next Tuesday for a town meeting. I don't know,
Nope.
we wouldn't have the data at this point.
We won't even have the data until Tuesday, maybe,
Yeah,
if we're lucky.
yeah,
So I think the answer needs to be sorry.
yeah. I did
It's
the best
not-
I could.
And
with
he
what-
knows about the problems with Munis. He knows that there's a delay in the information, and he knows that the information is messed up.
Yeah.
You really can't do anything with that.
No,
Right, right. So, my fear is that we have some risk to the 19th.
And of course, on the recap sheet, you work from the back to the front.
Right.
So It
You can't
starts,
sign things.
everything has to be filled in from the back. The last page one is actually the last page.
Yep,
That's how you set the tax
We
rate.
were
Yeah,
done.
yeah,
You work backwards.
right. So, good.
But at least from our part, we're up
We're
to
good
date.
to
go.
This part's
We're
ready.
good to go.
We're as caught up as we can be.
Yes.
Yeah, congratulations.
Oh, thank you. We've been working hard.
She's been very harried this week.
I know you would rather have that
And even
2.5.
more so today,
that
she
levy
found out they're going
done.
to state.
Oh, it would,
It's-
yeah.
It's not on you.
Yeah, but at least I feel confident, and thank you for covering for me when I was away with that issue
Well, we just,
with the
Bless your heart.
just need to get the information out to people.
personal property, yeah.
The personal property one we
Yeah.
had, we were
We
working.
got it fixed.
We got it fixed, so,
We got it fixed, and then we notified, you saw the note, notified everybody that here's what the new growth is too, so.
yeah.
We did as much as we could,
So
with our hands tied.
Hurry up and work, right?
Yep. So the LA3 and LA15, no, LA4 and
LA4, LA,
LA13 are done.
yeah, and then we got the growth in there also. And also in the growth report, which is the LA13, it does have our abatements in there as well. And our new growth figure of 527,280,
Right.
yeah. So that's kind of a summary.
Great. What else you been doing?
Oh, been
Much.
not much, no, we've been, we did get caught up on at least the pile of motor vehicle abatements we had. I guess we have a new pile now, but
Yeah,
we did
because they sent out.
Approximately how many do we do,
30,
roughly?
32.
Yeah.
Well, that's more than roughly, but good, thank you.
And we've got more sitting there waiting for us.
They're never ending, aren't
It's
they?
never ending.
They're never ending.
But no, we're making headway. I did want to mention, we do, I don't know if there's any issues here with mapping. We do have some mapping issues I'm concerned about. Reading around, I actually happened to come across something. The building inspector had indicated there was a property that wasn't on the maps. And I was doing a butters list, and I was having difficulty doing that. So unfortunately, we happened to find out from the building inspector that there was some parcels from 2022 that haven't been updated
On the maps.
on the maps. So that's gonna be something we're gonna have to address. I don't know if we have to go back to what was done in 2022, because there's
What does that
at least-
mean, go back to? What?
At least when the prior assessor was here. I don't know if all the map updates were done back then.
So you have to look at anything that's
Yeah.
supposed to be changed in 2022.
Yeah.
So we just keep finding crumbs along the way. You peel back the onion and go, okay, another rotten part.
Yep, so we just discovered this, so we've got to go back and check and make sure that it's correct.
Yep.
I did ask if there was any way we could get all the old emails that were sent to CJ from Lisa Normandin. I don't know if that's going to be possible on every change. And I did ask Logan, who's in the planning department, if we could get a copy of the plans, so we're in the loop, because we would have to go on the registry of deeds to access those plans.
And
If
so
you
a
don't have a
search.
clean number.
And we,
Right, so you're searching, sort of a needle in a haystack.
Right.
Yeah.
and we couldn't find this. Rena and I spent quite a bit of time looking today for this, and then we got it from the building department. So we really need to be included on all of the plans so that we can make sure that our maps are updated.
Yep.
Don't you have an automatic, you're supposed to be getting an automatic feed when they open
Well,
up?
but these are oversights from 22, 23.
Yeah, I know,
We-
yeah, but I do know that they kind of stopped using the system just before that.
Yeah.
That was what messed everything
But
up.
we do need
But I
to be.
think that the current building official is using the system now
Right, right.
for the
Yeah.
permits and stuff, so.
CJ was having a problem with that, and that the systems weren't being, we weren't being notified of the updates.
Right.
And so that would make sense.
So we've discovered a hole, we're gonna try to fill
Yeah.
it.
Well, I know
Fill
that
the hole.
Was it a half dozen?
when
properties?
Sheila was there,
That, oh, I hear? Yeah.
she used to go in and look up all the plans and the deeds filed for each month. And if there were new lot splits, she would print them up.
She's been gone a year,
She's been doing it for a while.
so,
The other thing is.
good find.
Yeah, well, I mean, we'll
Damn
get
it.
to it.
Money here,
It's,
you
it's
know?
a, it's a bottomless pit, just when we think we're finally making it.
We find something else.
But it's okay, we've come up.
Although, even today, Denise found a house that was done in '22. It was a single-family house, now it's a whole new duplex. There's 2 units. And she picked that up today. That was from '22.
Yeah.
Okay, is that the $1 million one that they just found out?
Nope.
No, so we still need to keep looking at that. And the other thing is that I'm gonna ask the building inspector, because we're not going out whenever, we were notified for inspections, but he has like a full schedule. So we don't need to go out on every inspection, like insulation and windows.
Yeah.
But we need to pick up the decks, the porches, the finished basements, the additions.
So is he just gonna send you his calendar?
Well, Denise tried to access his calendar, but I'm gonna ask him if there's a way that before he issues that occupancy permit, that we could be a sign-off.
Well, I know when I was alone there, he was sending notices to me that I have a final on this house today at such and such a time, but being alone, I couldn't do anything about it.
It didn't accumulate, it was just a note.
Yeah. So I'll ask him, but there were a couple of appointments that were missed, and he couldn't get into the property, so we want to make sure that we're part of that sign-off process before the occupancy permit's issued.
Is there any way to shovel that into new growth, these findings, at this time?
Next
Not
year.
for this year.
Yeah,
this
no,
This
We
year's
just-
done.
We're done.
We're, it's
done.
approved,
Yeah,
it's
yeah, well-
certified, it's done.
Yeah,
527,000. There you go.
There you go. Okay.
yeah.
Anything else we find is next year.
Next year. And can we go back, because we made the mistake?
We can only go back, well,
We can't, if we find it, like you do the supplemental bills,
yeah.
if she found there was a house we missed,
Yeah.
we can look up the occupancy permit and go back to when they issued the occupancy permit. But if it's
But
just
never
a deck
issued
or
the
something,
occupancy
you
permit,
can't go
yeah.
back.
Yeah.
Swimming pools,
That was
decks,
the $1 million
additions.
house, that was
Yeah,
no occupancy, but therefore it didn't click the system, okay.
we did send out a minute bill for that. That was discussed in the last meeting for
Yeah.
that house. But-
Yep.
But there's only so much we can do time-wise.
You've listed the LA3 and the LA15 on here, we're still not ready to do that. Those, right? You said stats update.
Like 4 and like 13.
4 and 13 are done, motor vehicle
Yeah.
abatements we talked about.
Yep,
You have
Yeah.
LA3 and 15,
LA4, LA13A, yep.
I'm done.
LA3 is,
right.
That was
so
approved.
That's already been approved.
That's been approved,
Yeah,
yeah.
That's right.
I don't have a physical report, but that was approved.
Okay, that's fine.
So at this point, we've submitted everything, we've been approved, and we're just waiting at this point on.
For the data.
finance director. Yeah, and I guess they have decided not to change softwares, they're gonna stick with Munis, but go to the cloud version.
Oh,
So
I learned our cloud.
Carter indicated that today in the department meeting, so we won't be changing softwares, unfortunately.
Well, if the cloud is actually updated regularly, most of our updating ones are gone, except that we gotta convert to the cloud. Right. Which is,
Many,
right.
right.
Yeah.
Many of the intermittent problems that we run into would go away.
But not initially.
Right.
Yeah. So they're gonna build an audit plan or
Build them.
trick? What happens, you build a plan to make the changes, right? And then you come back and say, okay, where am I gonna look at my most significant vulnerabilities based on what happened in the past and what could be happening in the future? And you actually go out and do some checks, do some samples and see what happens.
I think that's probably between the finance
Right.
director
I
and.
mean,
But I think we have the right to ask that.
Well, hopefully it doesn't affect the bills, 'cause
Yeah.
at this point.
Great.
The bills are gonna go up on time.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of problems. Every time, even when I went in to do an abatement the other day, I got an error.
Yeah.
So it seemed to go through, but I still get an error in Munis, so.
Any other updates?
That's it.
No?
No,
That's
no
not
other
it?
Good news.
That's not it?
No other,
That's not it?
no, it's good news, no,
That's not it.
no.
What about Tuesday?
Oh, Tuesday is, I'm sorry, Tuesday we have a new admin
Whoa!
who's gonna be starting.
What's the name?
She was ratified yesterday
Bye.
by the select board.
Oh,
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
her name is Robin
Did you
Nero.
meet her?
I met her in the interview.
Okay.
I did not meet her
I
last
know that
night.
Rena hadn't met her, but I wasn't sure.
But I've heard very good things about her, so.
Welcome, Robin.
And the last name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Nano, N-A-N-O, Nano.
Nano?
Yeah.
Okay.
As in really little.
Yeah.
She's probably not really little,
But,
but
no,
she,
okay. Don't do the Robin.
Not that
one.
so we have a conundrum in the office.
No, that's,
Seats?
Not enough desks or
No.
computers.
No,
Uh-uh.
yeah.
So
What's?
I'm sure
what an
that,
excellent problem.
I'm sure
Congratulations.
these two fine people will work it out.
We will, we always do.
Just don't put anybody in that closet, because it's
Oh,
not
you saw
safe.
the desk there, right? Oh, did you move
No.
that desk out? Oh,
Denise has the
Denise
desk.
has the desk.
Denise, yeah. Okay, that's right. Is there still room for that? In that, right where the other one used to be?
No, it's
No,
final
It's
cabinet.
not there in the closet, because the fire marshal's on outside
Oh,
that
yeah.
guy.
And it wouldn't be safe, it would be breathing in stuff that you wouldn't want to breathe in.
Yeah. So where are you gonna put her?
We're gonna let these fine people
We'll
work
figure
it
it
out.
We'll figure it out.
Because we don't know.
She'll be, have the desk up and use
Wow.
it because she's there.
Mhm.
Now, you're gonna be able to stay for a number of months now, right?
We don't know.
Through, right now, her contract, the value of her contract would have her last through the end of November.
We need more.
We do, we will,
Wow.
I did ask Carter, he wants me to
Just-
check.
December's kind of a lot of holidays and stuff, so as long as we can get the bills out on time, if we were not to have you during December, we were hoping we'd get you back by January, that might be a thought.
That's for abatement time?
Yeah, precisely. So we have a very good problem to try to solve, and I'm sure you'll have a solution that works for everybody.
Wow.
It's good news.
You know, based on what you've just found in the last, just reported, you got 24, 32, you have $40,000 you just saved or brought into the town, right? And if I look at the cost of you guys being able to keep working as a 3-team, and potentially a 4-team, I think you could make it up real quick, whatever we had to spend to keep bringing it around.
Well,
That's my argument.
We would love that, she's well worth
Yeah.
every cent. I did tell Carter that, how valuable she is.
Right. And people love it, love your responses on the phone, and
They do.
I mean, we have nothing but positive things, at least the people I've spoken with, really.
Well, I came into a tough situation
Made it better.
Yeah,
and just had to treat people the way I thought they should be treated.
you did. You treated me first time. Yeah. So,
Is that the last item on your
That's
update?
the best. Anything else? I don't think there's anything else.
Should I remind you of anything else? At what point should we address the item that you wanted to have put on the website that you sent to us?
Oh, anytime.
Well, I'm wondering if that should be part of this report, because it's really not anywhere else separate on here. Well, we could look at it during the website, I guess. We could look at it now, either way.
I didn't bring a copy of it, but it was something I wrote up that I got from another community that they put out for their reval. And I adjusted it to the interims, just informational. I think I sent it to you all.
Yes.
It was a public information Just something to
When did
put
you
on.
send it?
Oh, last week.
Yeah,
Last
Yeah.
week?
yeah.
Okay.
I saw it.
I didn't see anything that needed to be changed.
No.
It felt like something that would be very good
Useful and
information
helpful. Yeah.
to have available right directly on our website,
I thought so too, I was like, oh, yeah, thanks.
so. So now we'll talk about, I guess, during the website when we get to that, so, thank you. We are here to review and approve minutes of September 4th. Are we quite ready to do that one?
So there's a couple of things to change
Okay?
in that minutes. We have a batch of roughly 59 motor vehicle abatements. And the DLS
It wasn't the
states
10,000?
41C limits increased to 20,000 for a single person and 30,000 for married. And they can have $40,000 in assets for single and 55,000 for married. And that is the extent of the changes to what I previously sent out.
So, I think we can approve them with those changes if you want to make that motion.
I move to accept your changes.
Thank you.
You're
I'll
gonna say?
second it. Oh,
And
yeah.
I can vote,
You wanna vote?
even though I wasn't there. We voted on lots of minutes where we weren't there. Sorry.
So,
Aye,
Aye.
That's awesome.
all in favor?
Okay.
Any opposed? Okay, so who has an electronic copy of that?
Do you have an electronic copy of that, or who has this?
I can make the changes, or you can make the changes and send them over to
I
Alan.
can do,
Yes,
to who?
I'm sorry,
Ellen.
Alan.
Alan.
So you have to send it to
Alan.
Ellen,
No, that's
the town clerk, it has to go to Kathy and Ellen,
Oh.
CC the rest of us
I
as a
don't know why I heard
PDF.
Alan, like,
He said I said Alan too, so I'll have to look at it tomorrow.
You do that all the time, you should know.
who's Alan?
Alan.
I know Alan.
So yeah, it needs to be submitted as a PDF.
That's pretty good. Okay, that's done. There were a lot of numbers in there, thank you for updating that.
And they were not accurate.
Yeah.
I have done nothing with the October 2nd or October 16th. I don't know if anybody's done a lot of work on those yet. I prefer to postpone reviewing those until our next meeting.
I would second.
Thank you.
Some minutes for 16,
2nd and 16th. October 2, October 16th.
16th, okay. I have the executive ones from the 19th and August.
Right.
I couldn't remember if those were voted on at a different meeting.
I think they were, but if we want to take a look at it now and make sure that we're okay with it, we'll just confirm that, and that way we know it's done. So,
These are actually, it's 8/19
yeah,
and.
7/29.
Yeah, I don't have 7/29 now. I don't know if that's.
I think we've approved them, but I
I
don't
thought
have
we
that
had
in front of
approved
me.
those.
Do you think 7/29 was done?
I think so too.
Okay.
Actually, does anybody have access to the internet right now? We could go look and see if they're posted, because if they were approved, they were
No,
posted.
they're executive session. They wouldn't,
Oh,
they wouldn't be posted.
that's true. Never mind.
Until they're no longer relevant.
Until everything's been closed
Yeah.
on whatever issue it is.
Right.
And if it's ATV until it's been adjudicated.
I can
So,
see them.
we have lots of executive session minutes that are sitting there, a big pile, that we at some point should release, but I don't know how we go about doing that. Maybe we just do a meeting that's just those.
You do that in executive session?
No,
No.
because we're releasing them.
Right.
And we are approving these minutes in executives, from executive session during open meeting, but we can approve the release once they are no longer.
So you're not discussing any issues specific to?
No, we could be addressing specific issues, but it's now public knowledge. At that
Well,
point,
we haven't released.
once we've closed an ATV case, it is public knowledge.
Okay.
Once we've closed on an abatement, it's now public knowledge. There may be things in there, if there are any income or based stuff in there, but there shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, there may be on some of the other exemption kind of stuff, we wouldn't release that anyway, but. Noise being has taught, English. What's too many English? Oh, this was the, okay,
Yeah.
so these were the
The two private sessions.
two private sessions we had. We can't really talk about the numbers or the,
Hello. Come on.
Oh,
feel free to join us, it's assessors,
we're lonely in here.
if you need a nap. Yeah,
Yeah.
if we haven't approved those, I would move that we approve those.
So far, whatever, that's that.
It's okay, there's not really much on that last page.
Yeah. First one. Yeah, I'm good with
All right, all in favor of approval?
Right.
Aye. None opposed. So they have a copy electronically, so those adjustments can be made by the office.
Thanks.
Two minor corrections,
I can help you if you want.
either
Pop
way.
it here.
Well, she can take all the stuff back, and if she wants me to next week, I can go and change that, and put them in the book.
While we're waiting for Munis?
Oh,
Yeah, well, we're waiting for units,
Thank you.
tax bills.
We are up to review and approve invoices, expense vouchers, payroll, billing errors, etc. Do we have any?
Well, I do have one bill that I forgot at the office. It's from Vision for the software maintenance, $13,581, I believe it was. I do.
How often is that bill? Is it monthly,
I believe it's
quarterly,
annually.
annually? Okay.
Yeah,
it.
Yeah.
that's
So-
maintenance, just once a year.
Okay.
So I don't know if either one of you, I know we need two to sign off on it. I'm sorry to bring it, but
I can come back
jump
on.
by and just sign the bill when you have a chance.
Yep.
The omitted bill, in the last meeting, you wanted me to make some changes to it. I made the changes, took the dates off, so
Oh,
this is just for review only. So that. And that was submitted to the tax collector, so she was gonna send that out with the.
so, yeah, we had some stuff on there that's made this sound like this was the bill.
Oh,
So
yeah.
this is not a bill, you receive a tax bill from the tax
I
collector.
remember that.
So this just clarifies that, so we're not inserting ourselves into the loop. We don't need to be in that loop.
Got enough to do.
But I do have the warrant on that, so I need you to sign for that, so we can collect on it.
That'd be good.
That's always nice.
That's new growth for,
Next year.
That's it, okay. Where did you sign that?
Actually, the sheet that's coming back.
Okay.
did you want to attach those two together?
Yeah.
Give me this to sign both of those.
No, this was just a worksheet.
Okay. Okay. I'm used to signing everything 3 times.
Just didn't do that. And our next item is our, actually, wait a minute. This is this. This, oh, sorry, I do need you to sign this. This is, one is for the collector and that's for the collector, the other one's for the accountant.
Do we need
Oh,
to do
my.
that?
So you do need to sign that.
Yeah, probably, it's dated already, right?
It is. Right there.
Nice. Nice.
See, I knew.
You need to put it on your tongue.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.
New book.
Coffee.
Thank you.
Coffee.
And the last item is copies for the pile of motor vehicle abatements. I think there's 32 of them. I have 3 copies if you wouldn't mind signing all 3 for that.
There we go, 3.
Oh, gosh.
With all these extra pages.
One's for the accountant, one's for the tax collector, and one's for us.
Yep.
So much for paperless.
Isn't there one system that you can just approve with your magic code and it moves to the next person and no?
No, we need everything signed.
You don't have our stamp?
No, I haven't got a stamp yet.
One.
When we do get the stamp, could we get approval to stamp these, at least the motor vehicle,
I think
stuff like
we will
this?
address that then, but
Okay,
I think that should be on the agenda.
okay.
See?
It's something that I might be amenable to, I don't know about anybody else.
So it saves time.
No. I would have just asked forgiveness, but
Because she doesn't process these until we,
Sign.
yeah. So. And that's the last of the invoices
Nice.
I used to sign.
yeah, Mr. Chairman, if we got our own stamps and we brought them, we would save all that time signing.
We could do that,
No.
if that's what you want to propose at the time.
Yeah.
Discuss this. But for now, let's stop talking about it.
We're joking about
Update on the neighborhood review proposal.
Yes, so the neighborhood working group, are we allowed to meet?
I didn't get a final answer from, but as far as I'm concerned right now, no, I don't
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah.
Carter indicated we could,
We could?
yes.
When did you get, when did
He
you
had
get?
indicated that today, because I.
Oh, that's why I don't have it yet.
That's
I didn't
fine,
spend enough time in the office today, sorry.
We could do that.
that's
We
fine.
could form our own
Well,
committee.
we met and we looked through the whole spreadsheet of properties and we started with the ones that said 0. But we also looked at 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s and 5s and tried to understand what the thought process was behind those different neighborhoods. And so we came up with a list of what we thought 1 through 5 were. I mean, the ones were kind of easy, that was done recently. But we noticed some things with 4s that, you know, it looked like maybe there were small cottages at one time, but now we've had new development. You know, it looks like they haven't done it in like 20 years. It's hard to say.
Yeah.
However, you know, looking through that, I, at that point, like, you know, identified the trends and the differences, but then when we go to look at individual properties, I haven't seen the properties, I am not an appraiser, and so I know my limits there. You know, other people on the committee also are aware of a lot of the properties in town, but it felt weird to classify them without that look at the property or, you know, just the experience as an appraiser, in my opinion. So I thought perhaps we should make those categories that we've seen, what we think it looks like, and then suggest somebody with the appraising experience and the assessing experience work on assigning the neighborhoods where appropriate. The other thing that we did is we saw all those 0 numbers because we heard that a lot of them were, you know, from our meetings that they were ones that hadn't been assigned to a neighborhood. So we talked about it and came up with a plan and looked through all 570 of them. And I spent some time enjoying that process and assigned them all.
And you know, some of those I noticed were, some of them were town properties, some of them were, the chapter land ones definitely should be within whatever neighborhood that chapter land is in.
Yeah, it seems like, you know, and that seems
Exempt
poorly.
properties, fine, you can leave the zeros on.
Fine, yeah, and then there were some that maybe used to be exempt and were new development or something like that, I don't know. And those seem to clearly need some kind of assignment.
Right.
So I have that worksheet and I can turn that over for anybody's fun perusal.
Okay.
And I can go and highlight the ones that I think are not chapter, not open space. But I started to get thinking like, okay, we have well-intentioned people who are not appraisers, not assessors, trying to put those things in neighborhoods. And the magnitude of what that means for assessing somebody's property correctly. I think, we've got the major groups in neighborhoods, and certainly that can inform someone who has that experience to come look at those. I don't know if that means inside, our department that we have a department.
We now have a department.
Or if that means an outside consultant to then come back to the apartment, the department, and have those work back and forth and really look at those. I mean, that's something I'd be fine helping facilitate, but we're looking at a group that there's one person who's done the assessor one-on-one, and then no one else is sworn in, and they're great, but there's a training disconnect in my opinion. So I was wondering what you guys were thinking about that.
You have a thought? I have some thoughts.
I like the idea of just voting districts.
No, that ain't it, yeah.
That's not it.
That doesn't match up with sales, no.
No.
Darn.
This was a finding
Yeah.
that we got from the DOR, well, DOS, I think,
Mhm.
that we need to go back and revise or relook at our neighborhoods because they're kind of a mess. I think
It was a directive.
Mhm.
It was a directive, that's, I couldn't remember what
And
it was called.
I agree with them.
Oh, it is. And we were trying to do some cleanup
Yeah.
and, give people a better starting point. I think we need to take a position that we should be hiring a third party to revise our neighborhoods based upon whatever set of guidelines we want to give them. And we have some information already on the zeros and some information on the ones. But I think in order to make sure that we have objective review, we have people who know how to do this kind of work, come in and take a look at it and make some recommendations to us before we finalize. I mean, we obviously need to be the ones, this board would need to be the one to approve those changes, but I would really suggest that we need to have a third-party company come in and do the review, and not do it, we're trying to do it fairly quickly, we don't need to do it quickly, we can take a year, if we need to take a year, and if we can't get the budget this year, we can do the budget next year. We've got 5 years to address these directives. I want to get started on them as soon as possible, so it'd be better if it was sooner rather than later, but my perspective is, let's hire somebody to do it right.
Well, it can be a back and forth discussion.
Oh, clearly,
And with,
there'd be a negotiation, yeah.
with people seeing it too.
Especially now that we've had a chance to, Sarah and her team have had a chance to really start to take a look at the data and go, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. A lot of stuff that needs to be fixed, so.
Yeah.
If I could, I won't tell any more jokes this time.
Nope.
But if you were to look at the valuation by neighborhood in terms of a range, and you could come up with an average in that area, and look at the valuations of another area, and you can't do it
Well,
that way?
And that's suggesting methodology for this team, or are you suggesting somebody else?
No, I'm suggesting, I'm asking too, is that how you do it? What's your criteria for, I can only think of value by an area, and an average value by an area, and then you look at the geographic.
So neighborhoods, the neighborhoods are defined by the characteristics of the neighborhood, so style, sales, it includes location in some cases.
Right,
Yeah.
like Rolling Acres, Scully is a piece of,
Yeah.
all gonna be in the same neighborhood.
Yeah,
They may be in a larger neighborhood, but
right,
they're gonna be all in the same
But
neighborhood.
you saw that map I sent,
yeah,
those were the pre-existing neighborhoods.
right.
As they exist today.
As they existed, as they exist today. And we scoured through that map to try to identify characteristics that match those neighborhoods.
Right.
So, like,
So the neighborhood with
Once a
3,000 in it was,
two, gosh, it's been a little bit. I have it written down. Three was, really it seemed to be the default in town.
Yep.
4 seemed to be,
Another default.
it seemed to be cottages, also kind of near lake, but not on the lake, so maybe within those lake communities, with access to the lake. And 5 seemed to be, properties that are along,
Major
like
roads.
Mass Ave.
Yeah.
Right.
And it seemed mostly Mass Ave properties were 5, other people were 3. And 2, oh gosh, I think 2 was like more modern developments, but more like
Subdivisions.
from 20 years ago.
Oh,
yeah.
modern.
You know,
Mid-century modern?
The whole Flat Hill area,
like
right?
90s, 2000, you know,
Yeah.
that kind of area. But it wasn't uniform in that, those broad categories.
Uh-huh.
Because the other thing is neighborhoods have to be a pretty good size so that you can track sales in them.
Right,
Right.
right.
And we could have 5 or 6, you don't really want to have 10 or
Yeah.
20.
It just,
And-
And if there are, what,
Yeah.
3,500 residences in town, or what was the number out there?
And one of the things that came up was the 1A, 1B. I mean, if you look at the 1B,
It
it's
should be the first addressed.
I think we should look at the site indexes. I had a resident call,
Yeah.
who filed an abatement last year, and she found out about our committee and
Mhm.
wanted to know how we were doing with the
Mhm.
adjustments along the lake, because her neighbor has put
A
in
different rate,
a different rate.
Well, and
Yeah.
it's,
And
different neighborhood.
yeah, and it's problematic
index.
because the neighborhood breakdown is, it's not enough houses
Right.
for what we were given there.
Whomever we have do the review, I would suggest like for waterfront. Waterfront is a number, and then you either, and everybody's average,
Yeah.
and you move up from there or down from there based upon some series of factors.
Yeah.
But everybody's still that same number. Everybody's
And those-
waterfront, they're all waterfront,
Those-
they're waterfront.
Yeah, and those factors have to be decided.
Yep.
And applied uniformly.
Yep,
Yeah,
So we're looking at having to look at all of those properties,
right,
whoever that is, and it should be not a hodgepodge of people.
no,
right.
It needs to be a consistent set all the way around, and then I think lake adjacent.
So we have an advantage this time. We aren't looking at doing everything in the next 2.5 to 3 months. We have some time to actually do the review. We now have more staff,
yeah.
yes.
so we can do some of the work ourselves, some of the
Yeah.
legwork. And if we were to hire a third-party company, they could do all the,
Yeah.
collect some information, collate it, and give us back something back that,
To
give
try
us
to,
back something back, that was
trying to
bad.
have a subset of citizens decide what to do with 1A, 1B, it's not practical.
No,
How about we just?
Even though I'm sure they do a great job, then how do you defend the methodology? How do you defend how somebody decided 1A, 1B?
Right, because
And
not
they're not an
everybody's gonna be
appraiser, they're not an assessor, you know, right?
Mr. Rabbit?
Yeah, I'm learning, I'm fighting to not interrupt. I'm really working at it. When you see me go like that, I had an idea, but I shut up. I'm working at it.
So
Wow.
I write things in my notebook, I call it my parking lot.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good, and then I come back to it. So, the question becomes, why wouldn't we explore the possibility of going to somebody who we've hired in the past, like MFS?
no,
No,
No.
that's why we have these.
So-
they are responsible for that.
Right.
The
And-
1A, the 1B next to each other.
In their defense, they were looking at this kind of a time frame, but the way they did it was just too helter-skelter.
Yeah.
So that would not be my first choice.
You know, or something.
How am I saying that
Something,
nicely?
if we have somebody who has multiple parties, how do we assure that they're all evaluating them on the same criteria.
That's why I said it should be the same
A
person.
gauge R&R analysis probably,
And maybe whoever we hire is 1 or 2 people,
yeah.
or a company that has 1 or 2 people.
Well, and you know what, they then make the proposal, we have the benefit of time, and we
Mhm.
check and see if we think that is right.
Yeah.
Right, right.
And
So this,
not just get it dumped in one meeting and then here you go.
right,
You know, there was not enough time, in my opinion, for critical review there.
Right.
There needs to be.
so we're not gonna try to solve, I don't
Yeah.
think we're gonna try to solve this tonight, but we need to open the conversation, and I think that,
Do a lot.
you know, you've done a lot of work, that map must have been,
It was fun. It was fun.
because you find that fun.
I'm happy to make those
But I know.
when we have a reclass too.
Right, so,
It's easy
right.
if you have the data.
So it's a good summary, and it's
Yeah.
good, I think that what we discovered was this is not something we should assign to a whole bunch of us who are just citizens without any training.
And I dare
Yeah.
say the citizens there might disagree with me, but that's my opinion.
Do we want to send them to training?
No.
No?
That's not, well, that's also my, I just responded with my opinion too,
Yeah.
no. I think we,
You want people that have some experience, not newly trained.
I was gonna make a suggestion, now that we're gonna hopefully be fully staffed, that maybe Denise and I and Raina could maybe look at some of the streets along the lake and maybe take it little by little, go out and inspect, and then make a judgment call and review it.
There are some things we probably need to fix today,
Yeah,
as opposed to this is a full review of
Yeah.
all the neighborhoods.
right,
So, but the things that we need to fix today, clearly waterfront
yeah,
needs to be
Yes.
addressed.
yeah, that's,
So that's something we could do in-house
yeah.
up front, I think. And I would, my suggestion would be to, let's go ahead and do that when we have the time, because I know we're busier than one arm paper hanger at the moment.
Yeah, yeah.
But once everybody's up, running, trained, then there's no reason we couldn't start taking that on for at least that piece.
it needs to be done carefully and right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I do know somebody that could possibly help out.
So we'd have to write up an RFP or RF, whatever, RF something.
Or do we want to try and, are we going to try and isolate what we want to be considered before we ask them?
We can make a list of the things that we would want to be addressed.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that's
Yeah.
in fact, if I were a company trying to respond to that kind of RFP, I'd absolutely want to know, what is he looking for?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you can't just, you know.
So you're looking at waterfront, but there's all different kinds of waterfront, and you're looking at good waterfront, how do you define?
No, don't go down that rabbit
No,
hole.
no,
We'll look at all waterfront, we'll start with the waterfront, and then decrease it based upon some things, increase it based upon others.
Yeah.
So those factors, what you're talking about is factors, so,
Yeah.
so
Which
we
we
don't
don't
need to go down there, we
currently have those in vision.
we don't,
Yeah.
we don't.
We just have-
We don't have a vision.
Like one, our neighborhood 1A, 1B, it should be 1 and 1A, 1B, the AB should be some factor that is put in there.
Right,
It shouldn't be like a separate neighborhood, it should be one,
that's,
in my opinion.
yes,
It should be one with, is this great, is it not great?
An adjustment.
An adjustment, yeah.
and there may be several adjustments, we may have a list of 20 things that we want to adjust to.
But that criteria
That's okay.
needs to be developed.
Right, right.
So maybe we could develop the criteria.
We could start with that, absolutely.
If it's like, when we had reviewed some of the properties and it was like.
Slopes.
Because they
Yeah,
walk
slopes,
down
I'm
the
saying,
hill.
but you can take that
Or-
beyond just the lakefront, you
Yeah.
can take that to a lot of pieces of
Well,
property.
we could factor in slope for anybody's overlay lot.
Yeah.
Those are factors that we should be using in vision.
Yeah,
Well, there's certain criterias when you're laying out the site indexes.
Right,
Mhm.
And, you know, like you said, the busy streets. There's, most communities have something for numbered routes or
Yeah.
through streets.
right,
Mhm.
You
Cross
know,
house.
and then, and I think if you look at the book I made up last year,
Yeah,
um,
yeah.
it sets out some of the criteria
Yes,
for
it-
different types of
Yep.
It
neighborhoods.
does, yeah, and it
Yep.
needs to be applied consistently.
Yep.
The data collection manual that I did
Mhm.
last year.
Yes, that
Yes.
one. I read through the whole thing, I still have it.
And that'd be something we'd want to provide to whomever we ask to carry the ball. If we are gonna focus in on the waterfront properties right now, because maybe we can do that, we've still got, there are 400 properties or 450 properties on those lakes, and there are still 3,000 others that we need
Yes,
to look at.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I know a person who has built a data collection manual, who applies it consistently.
Well, we're not
And she
gonna,
used
we're not
to
gonna
be-
try to.
No, I'm just gonna listen to credit.
You're jumping way ahead. The conversation is about whether we agree that we should be farming this out to a third party.
Yes.
Okay.
And
That's
if
where
that's where we are right now, and I don't think we need to go any further than that yet. We also need to figure out what things we would want in that, if we put together an RFP. And then we have to figure out how we're going about funding it. We've got to go back to the town
Yeah.
and say, we need this much money to redo because we have this directive from the DLS.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
So there's some steps. Let's not get way ahead of ourselves. I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
Yeah.
you heard. That's
We all understand what you're saying.
Yes.
That's
I love
not for today.
Okay, I think
So
that's
thank you
it.
for this, for the update on the, so what will your next steps be with the committee? Are you going to just tell them that we
I'm
are,
gonna thank them for
we learned a lot.
their support. They asked really good questions. And they provided, like, together we came up with what those neighborhoods probably meant, which is not anywhere to be found. It was a lot of looking at different pieces and being able to visualize it. It was nice that we could actually visualize it and click on the map.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know about you, but every time I have to look at a pop-up and then try to find it on the map online, it just was almost impossible to see what our neighborhoods look like. So I think they did a lot of good work looking at everything. It's just, we need to take it up a couple of levels.
So you
I will send them a note.
summarize all the great learnings that we
Yeah,
have
yes,
and thank them for all the work that they did and
yes,
let them know that we're considering going as a
yes,
professional.
with the professional, yes.
I'm good you brought that.
That is what I shall write.
I meant it.
Right, anything like
So I
that.
printed it myself, I said. oh,
Or something else, if you want to write something else.
You forgot about
That
it.
does it pretty well.
That's okay.
Thank you.
The warrant.
Exemption warrant article for the fall town meeting.
There you go. Or you wanna go first, or you
Well,
go?
I met with Carter today and he had requested that we have 3 slides in 5 minutes to explain the exemption.
It'll go faster than that, and I'll show you what I have, and,
Okay.
but first, let's get some clarifications straight. In the warrant, there is was it page number 3, with regard to costs, adopting certain clauses. They had 0 for us. That's not correct. It's $486 if we do go ahead with this. Because you're gonna do the math of, what was it, 3%? And, I'm saying, 4.5%? I'm thinking the wrong one, never mind. $486. That's what it's gonna cost us, the town. To go ahead, we have 27, 29 people currently on 41,
No,
41C.
18.
18, okay. So I'll fix that, but I had a little bigger number. In either case, 18, and you're gonna do the
Currently, last year we had
18, you're gonna assume the same number.
Ish.
Ish. We just wanna put a number there, nothing's free. And I'm saying, whatever, I'll come back and confirm that, but we need to tell folks it isn't free, after all. And the second part,
So,
yeah,
where's it funded from? Because the thing
that's gonna come out of the overlay.
the thing that's listed,
No,
the thing-
no.
the thing that's listed in there is the money articles and the implication of what those money articles are.
Right.
So that means it's the stuff that hits the budget. Are we hitting the budget someplace?
Yes.
The exemptions do come out of the overlay,
Right.
but then we get reimbursement from the
We only
state.
get
We won't get
500.
all of it.
I know we don't get all of
Right.
it.
Yeah, the 380 is the actual incremental increase, and that's when you see this package I'll hand out, you'll see that it went up $380 to support this increase, and based on the numbers that we've got, I went out and looked up, and
Well,
it's about
the increase,
2.5%, I'm sorry.
the increase comes out of all the rest of the taxpayers in town.
We still have to fund it out of the overlay account, though.
You
No,
fund
well,
out, you're gonna
it's an abatement,
have money in your overlay for, say, if you had 18 people at $1,000 each, because you're going up
We
to
do.
1,000.
Yeah,
And then, and that was what I was saying before, that's why every year, when I was in Groton, we had an article on the warrant every spring,
yeah.
because we doubled it from 500 to
You
1,000.
needed the warrant for that, yes.
And because of that, because you're asking the taxpayers to make up that $500,
Right.
that's why it was on our town meeting warrant every year as a standing article.
I'm not sure it needs to be there as long as it's in the budget.
If,
As long as it's in the budget, not the first year. But as long as it's budgeted for, then you don't have to have a separate article because it's in the budget.
Well, because
Was this
we
pre-COLA? Was this before COLA?
Yeah, we did 41C.
So with the adoption of COLA, I think we will have already approved at town, if town meeting approves.
Right.
We'll have already approved at town meetings, we don't need to do that anymore, but we might need to do that the first
Right, you
year.
don't have to go back to the town every more with the
Right,
COLA.
right,
That is correct.
Right. So at that point, I think it's gonna become part of the normal budget.
So you're gonna
I
have
think
to
we
increase
say
your overlay.
this year,
Yes.
it's an increase of approximately $400. Is that what you're saying, Jeff?
I'm sorry,
That this year it's an increase of about $400
Yes,
distributed amongst
yeah,
the
it's
entire town.
30 to 30, yeah, around 400.
Yeah.
But we should be telling them that it is costing them, just don't put it free like they've got in the warrant and report right now, just asking for it.
$502 we get back from the state and the 41Cs.
No, it's a little less than 500.
Yeah, I think it is less than that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think
The
it-
first 500 is supposed to be covered, but they don't cover the whole 500.
Really? I thought they did, but that's okay.
No, they
The amount- I don't remember what the number was,
I
but
don't
I
remember
was
what
surprised that
it
it
was.
was like
Yeah.
470 or something. They just don't cover it all, they cover most
Oh,
of it.
okay.
I thought it was $502, I don't know why I have that number,
You can confirm that for us,
but, yeah.
That'll look wrong.
because we're all doing it off the top of our heads, and
Yeah,
the top of my head is not that good.
okay.
Okay, so anyway, the warrant has a really odd title to this thing. I have no idea where they got it. Adopting certain clauses relative to taxing exemptions. Doesn't say anything about COLA. But when we submitted it, we said basically there was an adjustment to COLA.
Oh, well, it's
It
in
was-
it's in the discussion that it's COLA.
Yeah, right now,
We can't put everything in the title.
but you can make the title a lot cleaner.
Well, this is already printed, so we're not gonna revise the title, so let's not have that
Okay,
discussion.
so we won't have that. So what I did is basically, I wrote adopting cost of living clauses for specific exemptions, and to see if the wording is to see if the town is, the COLA junction. And oh, by the way, this is a package that we would leave out there for those folks that really want to read it.
Oh,
Yeah, this is the package, this is not.
not the slides necessarily, but
Not yet,
Right.
not yet. So anyway,
if you could make this into 3 slides, that'd be great.
it can't. Yeah, we'll get.
There is a package.
Hey, we have the same problem with Heather, and you know what, at the end of the day, she came on board, but she wanted to come in, and we danced around that, so, either case, pay,
There's 2 Ps in approve,
is it? Oh, okay,
so,
no, that's good, thank you.
you know what, anything go up to the town, it's,
It's true.
And
That's
we're adopting 41D, not 41C. We
Yeah.
only have
No,
41C.
where does it say 41C?
Right down here.
Third page, third slide. Right?
Anticipate CPI index increase from 2000 to 1.8%. Total increase for a 41C recipient household
But
is
we're not
$18.
using 41C
It's-
anymore.
That's sitting on top, 41.
We're gonna go with 41D.
Right, that just modifies C. It's no
But
longer C.
we're not
C
calling
is
it.
going down, totally,
It stays in place,
right?
because nothing ever goes away, but you're
If-
adopting
When they come in and file for the abatement, what are they filing for?
41D.
Okay.
So, can we also change the adopting 17F and 41D modifies the above
What page, time is going fast?
three?
Page 3. Okay,
Yes,
where's this
it's
now?
41C.
It says 41C,
Oh, in here, the top?
yeah, which, that was, we did
So-
modify 41C. I just don't know if we
If you,
need it this way, we could say,
This is right off your stuff.
yeah. Well, it
17E and
shows-
F modify 17D, 41D modify 17C. We probably ought to separate those two separate pieces of language.
Yeah,
Only because it's a little bit confusing the way if I wrote it, it's confusing the way I wrote
I
it.
just pulled it in.
so I know, but now that we're looking at it, you know,
Can I get away with just putting this out here? Oh, no, I don't want it, because this you want to see, because we're gonna end up referencing the 27 participants, it's 27,
27 what?
27 people on 41C.
do we need a,
No,
It's
the
not
last year,
27.
So-
we had 18.
I wanna point out,
41C.
I wanna point out that the reason we had this chart in here is we thought we needed to have this chart for the record.
Yeah.
But I'm hearing we don't need that,
No,
those values.
Those were what we should have gone by those values.
yeah, that's because on our wall it says 31,000. And we can't go by that, what's on the wall, because we have to
Yes.
go by what was approved by,
I get that,
okay.
I'm just questioning whether we need to actually have that discussion at the meeting.
Well, you might want to know, you might
Oh.
want to let people know that if they're above this limit or
We're
this
just
limit,
letting them know
They can't.
what the new limit
don't
is.
go
By
out
the way,
applying.
Yeah,
that limit is the limit regardless of what we do.
Right.
Right,
yeah,
Right,
so why don't we just say our current income and asset limits and exemptions are in this chart below. We're proposing to change those to be the cost of living. To adjust for the cost of living.
you're, you can write that up, scratch it, sorry.
I'm sorry,
Do we need to say something?
where are you trying to
about-
change it?
Yeah, sorry, scratch that up.
When we look at this chart, we go from 17D, we talk about 41C. Then I'm scared that when people look at this chart, they're gonna think these are the new limits. They're not gonna read that line that says these are the old limits.
Well, these are the
Well,
limits that we're
that's our
starting with.
starting
Yeah.
limits.
Okay. Because it
We
says,
have to start with those.
so these are the limits we're gonna start with. Let's
Yes,
say it that way,
All right,
so that it's not,
and then the COLA will be
Because we're talking
applied
about-
to those.
so we're talking about 17D, then we talk about 41C,
And that should be 41D,
and that should say 41D.
because that's the one we want to accept.
Right.
Yes, and then we're proposing to start our income and asset limits at this level, and then adjust it by COLA.
right.
Correct.
So the starting limits are at 41D,
Because,
C, 41C, right?
D,
Existing limits on 41C.
those, I wouldn't even put 41C in there. Those were the income limits that we should have been using right along.
Yeah,
For the last,
and they weren't.
Oh.
so are these our 41C values or not? Or they are new 41D starting values?
They're the new 41D.
if we do
starting.
not accept 41D,
Yeah,
Then
they are 41C values.
yes.
Correct.
And so that's what I'm getting at.
Oh, all right.
Am I talking about C or am I talking about D? I've been in this room,
You're talking about both.
yes, but that's confusing here.
I get it.
Should we point out that that's what should have been utilized for?
Well,
No, I don't think we're going to do that. We just did.
So,
So at this time, our income and asset limit exemption amounts are as
Are.
below.
Yep.
Unless we adopt 17E, 17F, 41D, and 17D.
Then the COLA will be set.
Then
by the
COLA will
state
kick in from the state.
automatically every year.
Simpler. Did everybody get
Right
that?
up, oh, right up, or whatever.
Let's take the recording.
that's it. If you want, I'll get it, but I can back and look into it,
so-
that's right.
Our current income, we're proposing our income and asset limit and blah, blah, blah are fixed. This is what we have, unless we choose to adopt 17E, 17F, 41D. If we do, then 17D is gonna be modified by 17E and F to adjust for COLA. And 41C is gonna, our 41C values are going to become 41D, allowing COLA adjustments.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
because otherwise they're not gonna know how these chart values connect to what's going on below,
Okay.
I think. I was listening to the board talk about it and they're like, what is this chart? Yeah, but you know what, and they work pretty, they do a lot.
I know.
They're interested and they had not.
Right.
So, you know, we're gonna get people at town meeting, just pick this up and they're like, huh?
What is that?
Yeah.
We got one explanation.
So,
okay, let me take a shot at it, and
Yeah.
I'll send it over to you, and you can send it back to me, or what do
we
you
can
want?
just write this right now. Without going back and forth.
No, you got that?
We are in session, we can do that.
Yeah.
So. Unless we adopt 17E, 17F, and 41D. Option. Adoption modifies the
So the first time I sat down to simplify this, I added like 4 pages.
Yeah, and there was that. Okay. I thought it was value, what was the value I thought? Is that there's a recognition that this hasn't changed in an awful long time,
Well,
and,
it officially hasn't.
right, and this is what we voted last time when we were in town, 41C.
Yeah, I think she's still got the
Yeah,
chart there.
you voted to change the
You voted to go up on the, go down on the age
age,
and
go
go
up
up
on
to,
the
and go up on the
funding, yeah.
funding, $1,000.
Yeah,
And
this is stuff is changed.
Which is not any of these things.
Right, right, and this has been there since 2006,
Well, in 2000.
Modified.
and then the other earlier one was May, yeah, 1998.
Yeah, 19,
What do you think of this, gentlemen? Our income and our chart will be as such unless we adopt 17E, 17F, and 41D. If we adopt 17E and 17F, 17D is modified by COLA to account for asset and exemption increases.
I don't think you need the whole unless piece,
Okay,
because you're saying right after that, if we, no, I think, well, just as you said it,
yeah,
if,
so unless, so,
that whole unless
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
can
So-
come out. And
so,
less words is better if we can.
yes,
When we can.
so, if we adopt 17E and 17F, 17D is modified by COLA for assets and exemptions. If we adopt 41D, 41C, income and limits are modified by COLA.
If we adopt 41D,
The
41.
income and asset, the income,
Assets increased by COLA.
yeah, not the assets, though, the
Oh,
income.
income and
Just-
limits,
income.
just income.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm gonna write that one more time, neatly.
what? You're thinking, I can tell.
Should it be income and asset limits?
I think
For 41D?
D does two things,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
I thought 41D does
I
income and
think,
assets.
I think 41D does two
It
things.
does do two
It
things,
does,
it changes
so-
income and asset.
So it should be income and asset limits,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, okay.
17E is separated into two
Okay.
pieces.
Okay.
41D is one piece, but it's two things.
So,
17D limits
That's okay. I was under the impression that 17E and F were adopted, and it was
Nope,
basically,
we haven't adopted it.
we'll be adopting that, adding those. But that also becomes a subset of 17D.
We've already adopted 17D.
Right, so these are
This just
added
allows
subset.
us, this allows us to apply COLA against the
Against,
base,
right.
Right.
that's all.
Yeah.
Exactly
So
right.
we have essentially already adopted 17D.
Right.
So that's
So we're not
still
changing-
adopted, we're not throwing it out.
Right, we're just adding to
We're
it.
just adding these two clauses
So
Right.
we can have the COLA.
so we can apply COLA.
I got that, clauses to be added into
And we're
7.
notifying them that this is what,
Yeah.
for
And was the impact,
25.
right.
And these two clauses, by adding it, are affecting 17D and 41C. They're not changing them, they're just allowing them to automatically get the cost of living increase, right? So that background would be correct.
Okay. At this time, income and
Right,
asset
so look at
limits.
it the other way, but.
Okay.
At this time, income and asset limits and exemption amounts are fixed, as shown below. Then, if we adopt 17E and 17F, 17D asset and exemption limits are increased by COLA. If we adopt 41D, 41C asset and income limits are increased by COLA.
Right,
Precisely.
There's your 2 lines.
okay,
Cross out the other stuff on the right. Yay,
okay.
okay.
So I'm a believer in pictures.
Yeah, you can start with that picture.
Yeah, well, actually,
17E and F, modify 17D.
This one feels,
But I would have 17D first, and then have 17E and
that's
F
what,
branch.
I think they flip them over.
Yeah, yeah.
But then
They
the
flip them
arrows,
over, then it's clear.
then the arrows are going up to 7, if I
No,
make
put
these
17D,
17D
yeah.
here.
That's like flip it.
Yes,
And
and the arrows
then E
point
and
down.
F are just okay, you can go that way, okay. I'll move that.
It just
Yes.
seems more logical. Here's what we are, and
Here's
here's
what
what
we
we do.
have, and here's where we're
Okay.
going.
As opposed to, here's what we're gonna do, and that's what's.
And should I try and incorporate it into this? No, because we want to carry together some of the other data too.
You wanna have that chart, I think, still.
Yeah, you still want the chart. And
I don't think it's 27 though, we gotta double check that.
You know,
I'm pretty sure
no,
it's 18.
She's 18, she told me 18, but I called you. I called you.
I don't know where you got
I told
17.
you 18.
You told me 18, I
I
heard.
did.
Oh, it's getting time. It's
Were
getting
were you
time.
asking about prior years? Because we may have done 27 in some
Yeah.
other
Maybe
year.
you were confusing the HERO Act, because we had
Oh, we have one.
the 22 E's, right? Maybe he was confusing
Okay,
that.
I'm not worried about it, but now I'll fix the number.
It's 18.
Just don't lose that sheet, because I will not be able to say those
Now I've
words
made it
twice.
twice. And there's always videos which save me all the time.
Well, luckily, we have the microphone here, so we'll be able to hear, because I watched one of the meetings where we were looking over here, and I had no idea what was being said.
That's great.
It's the musical singing in the rain.
Okay, so then there's that. Okay. And how is COLA adjusted? We provided an explanation of that. Will the town have to vote to approve COLA adjustments annually? No, it's automatic. Any changes beyond the current approved baseline schedule, which are probably
So
should say.
that doesn't need to be on the slides, but that could be
That's in the
a
handout.
talking point.
Yeah, that's in the handout. And will towns reimburse amount for state? Also see a COLA increase? No, they do nothing. I called Becky on that today. There's no movement.
Nope.
That's it.
They change our limits, but they don't give us any more money.
Right. And then note, all changes beyond the scope of the COLA increase will require a separate vote.
One
That's
more
true
change.
too.
One
Yeah.
more change.
One more change.
So,
Page
on
5.
page 5, 17F allows for an increase in exemptions, not abatements. It's
Yeah,
not
these are
abatements.
exemptions.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
you seem to,
Oh, and you
You
have-
get conflated.
you
have
conflate, that's right, that's exactly,
I'm all-
Yeah.
exceptions and abatements, and they're not the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
actually
where-
said that
where's that
to
So it's
our
actually
finance director at a meeting on
Let
Monday.
me see it, I can't.
2
It's
spots,
not a
Two spots, yeah.
so
It's an exemption.
exemption.
Funded differently, different approach. it's-
So that should say
Thing.
exemption, and then that should say
Money
exemption
back.
granted.
Okay,
Okay.
we
Right.
know what we need. Actually,
Just keep her page.
somebody said to me
No, I'm
recently,
gonna give it back to her so she can go and check it to make sure I did things right. Exemption. And, okay.
See, because right at the top here, we see exemptions. We want to
I
say
heard that
exemptions
before.
everywhere.
Right in the
Well,
pearls
I
there.
thought you were gonna be a town. I thought you were-
Oh, I still have to go.
You could bail me out, Sarah.
No.
In fact, I think you should
No.
come up with me.
No, no. That prolongs,
Too many
that
presenters.
prolongs the agony of town meeting.
It's the
I will not
opportunity.
do that to my neighbors.
It's
Yeah,
an
sure.
opportunity.
It's gotta be short,
Short,
sweet.
sweet to the point.
Thank you.
I think you're gonna approve this, folks.
I think we're closed, right, on this one?
Yeah, and I will try to
Thank you
figure
very
out
much.
how to make it work for, do I really have to make the 3 cells?
Just reduce the font.
Oh, that's.
Well, no, but
Like
some of this stuff doesn't go in
No,
the
I agree.
presentation,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
you'll get this down to, I'll bet you get it down to 4, and then go,
Yeah.
how am I gonna get to 3?
Right. Okay,
Thank you,
so
thank you.
and I will fix the value, and I'm just gonna explain to folks that our package has a little different name to it than what you're seeing there, it's the same article.
You don't even have to say that. Here's your article number. and just-
Yeah, yeah, just give them the article.
They know what the article is.
That was-
It says exemptions in the article, it says exemptions
Okay.
on the warrant. I think anybody that,
With that, I will make the fixes and give it to you,
Okay,
confirm it,
okay.
and it also.
because the more explaining we do,
more
The
time.
more
the less
questions.
people
Yeah.
will understand.
And it's true.
And the more questions we'll get.
And the
And
more
it's about
confused
questions.
people get.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely.
Because, you know, we actually know the article numbers, 17, D, E, F. But
Yeah.
if everybody starts talking at once, nobody can keep track.
You can't-
It's true.
And
Yeah,
that's town
no,
meeting.
no, right,
It's
exactly.
true.
That's
It's
right.
true.
They're gonna just believe us, for $380,
No, they're not.
No.
$138.
Short and sweet.
They're not. I think we need to make sure we make the case and then they'll approve it when.
Yeah, I will mention that it's not exactly 0, it's negligible, or maybe I'm gonna say that word, but it's $230 or something, whatever that number ends up, and we're going, why are we wasting our time? So, okay, next.
I wouldn't say that the warrant that you have is wrong. Just say, the implication, the impact right here really is about a couple of buildings.
Yeah.
It's close to 0. compared
It's
to the
approaching
rest of the
zero.
budget.
Well, the budget's, 23 million and we
Yeah,
have.
what prompted me, they had one for, one of it that was under $1,000 listed, so I said, okay, I better put this one in. And,
That's fine.
The warrant.
Upcoming classification hearing presentation.
Yes,
Here it is.
here it is.
Oh, look at the colors. And they even made sure that the
I
front of
did-
town hall looks
I
really
got the
bad.
town.
I already got one.
I got paper.
19 pages?
Yeah,
Wow.
I've got it.
so
Did you include any of that crap that I wrote? 'Cause
I did.
I wrote way too much
I
crap.
spent my night going through, after 4:30, I was trying to get as much in as I
So-
could.
She did some of this on a plane.
Single or
This is-
split is the question.
No, there are 3 questions.
3. Open space discount.
Yeah, we don't have any.
We don't have any open space,
I
so.
don't know anybody.
It's one of the things we have
Massachusetts.
to.
We have open space, we don't have,
No,
We don't do the
Classified.
we don't classify it that way.
it may be
It's one
called
of those
that,
weird
but
zeros.
it's,
So we don't have.
Anybody in
open
we don't have
space.
open
Does.
space.
So that goes away.
We might next year.
We do have open space, we just have it under the care and custody of
Conservation.
conservation,
Or the
the
town.
select
Town,
board,
yeah.
the parks and rec. It's not sitting alone by
And the
itself.
small commercial exemption, the first time I heard about it was recently, so I did a lot of research. So I sent her about 8 pages of crap. And I said, take anything out of there you want. Throw the rest of it away.
What do we mean here by a residential exemption?
Well, they're gonna decide, the select board's gonna decide on a single or split tax rate, and then they can decide whether or not to adopt these 3 exemptions. The open space discount, which we don't have any open space, the residential exemption, which
We
we
have
talked
nothing
about,
designated as open.
and
We
and the
need to
small-
actually,
and the small commercial, which,
okay.
and they're explained further in here, but, so the purpose of this presentation is
So-
gonna address these
Okay.
4.
Because I'm like,
4
please,
items. Yeah.
sorry, go ahead.
But no,
We do have open space.
yeah, no, it is confusing.
It's a different.
Point of order, we have open space. I know. It's
Yeah,
not-
sorry,
And you have
I'm
5
thinking about
classes.
changing the color of this, I don't
No,
know.
but, yeah, I don't like pink too much.
yellow,
Okay,
Just,
yellow.
but if you do say open space say something about designated open space. We have no designated open space. And that way,
No designated land code for open space.
I'm saying,
that's too many words.
You're
We have
right.
no
No.
designated.
well, I do say it in the slide. Do you want me to leave this alone and then say it in the slide as we,
Oh,
for the explanation?
you're gonna, yeah, I wouldn't change this.
Okay,
Okay,
all right.
it's somewhere
Other
else.
than that, color.
Yellow, make it yellow, blue, cricket.
Yellow, okay.
Ukrainian colors.
Okay.
Okay.
And then,
The whole thing for
and
open
then the next
spaces.
page is, and I am gonna try to change this photo because there's too many houses, Lunenburg is a little more.
You should be able to get a picture of rolling acres, put it right there.
Okay, maybe you can help me
Why
with
do you
that.
keep
There we go.
going back to rolling acres?
Because everybody knows it.
Yeah.
It's the only, I'll call it, enclosed neighborhood we
That's where
have.
everybody goes trick or treating.
And that, yeah, everybody.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
there's
is the
that.
hot spot.
Could
You
you
should've
give me a
done.
picture of that and we can put it in here?
There's gotta be one somewhere in town.
Okay,
Good luck.
Probably an area.
Let's move on.
okay, all right.
It's, yeah.
Yeah.
So, again, I'm just summarizing that our purpose is for the tax classification hearing, and it's to adopt a residential factor, and then I state there's 5 classes of property: residential, open space, commercial, industrial, personal property. Again, we don't have any open, but these are the 5 classes that we have. The next page has the commonly used terms.
Do you really need to use this?
Well, I'm just wondering, should this go back?
Yeah, just
Oh,
a
I can-
support package.
I
or
can
something.
order, I can change the order.
I would put this more as an index in the back.
Oh, you would? Okay.
Because-
That's-
Well, you start reading off the,
They're gonna get lost.
yeah, they're.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's only a paper clip, so
Well-
she can just move it to the back.
Well, but it says
Yeah.
4, we gotta change that.
The only thing is that some of these are discussed in
I know,
presentation, so,
I get it, but
but,
You
somebody
wanna
that
give them-
would,
You wanna give them a handout?
at the select board meeting,
yeah.
if anybody that doesn't understand this needs to go to the back and look at it, because they should all understand what those are.
Right.
You know, some of the pages don't have numbers on them,
Right.
So
so
I have to-
I'd take the,
And also
Okay,
revision
just-
dates, they need a revision
Okay.
level.
What?
Let a revision,
these
something
back
at
here
the
got no
level in
page
the corner.
numbers.
They are.
Because they don't have the dates
Only the last one.
Oh.
to reference
Just got
the
the
rest
rest
of
of
the,
it.
you know, in the lower insert, lower,
Yeah.
the red
This one
level
has
in there.
a page.
is
The
really
very
awesome.
last one. I got page number 9.
Yeah,
I
that
think
all,
with
that all needs to be redone.
This one has 9 on it.
Yeah, I noticed that tonight, I was like, oh.
Yeah, they're-
That's why we're doing
But
this.
take a
I'm a
really
black
good
belt.
look at the pie chart.
That looks amazing.
Oh.
So assuming that this commonly used terms becomes part of the index, let's move
Yeah.
on.
We need
Okay.
to see about the roles of the
So-
assessor.
Yeah, I added some more. So do you, I'll move this to the back, the terms.
Yeah.
Move to the second to last page. And then the role of the assessors just kind of talks about how the tax rate, the formula for that. And the fact that we, FY 2025 is a review of 2023 sales, and the 2022 sales will utilize the classes that had limited sales. So just to talk about how it's reviewed, we have to follow the guidelines established by the Massachusetts Department of Revenue. And we do not set the tax rate.
Can I ask something? Is there some reason not to put that one very first?
The role of the assessor.
The Board of Assessors does not set the tax rate.
Yeah.
Okay, I can move that up.
Yeah, right at the top.
First one?
I don't want anybody confused later on,
Yeah.
going, oh, tax.
Yeah.
And they'll hear the first thing.
Well, then I'm gonna move the next one, says the tax rate's determined each year as a result of the amount of money the town and residents. So, we have to, I'm gonna move that one up as well,
That's fine.
Yeah.
don't you think?
Sure.
Or do you,
It's not as critical for me, but if you want to put them together, keep them together, go ahead, keep them together.
do you want me to mention that our role is to value property for the purpose of equitable and taxation?
Yeah, oh, I don't say take these out.
That should be number one, don't you think? No?
You're asking who determines the tax rate here. You start with that. So
Okay.
you want to answer that question really quickly.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll move those one and, well, the third, fourth bullet will be moved up to 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm wondering, can you say the role of the board?
Determine-
Go ahead.
Determined each year by the DOR.
Yeah, believe it or not.
Where?
The tax rate is determined each each year.
But no, the DOR does not determine
The
that tax rate.
No.
Who does? I thought we had to wait for a report to come back.
It's determined when you finalize the recap sheet.
I- But
Based on the
until
levy.
we get something back from the DOR, we can't do it, right?
No, we.
When you get all your approvals, then you can have your classification hearing
Yep,
to set the tax rate.
yep.
Rather than just cut a
But the
suggestion.
number comes from,
The tax levy divided by the,
what report does it come from?
It comes actually from the first page of the recap sheet.
Which
When
is,
you've got all those numbers on pages 2, 3, 4. When you're working backwards.
So last year, when we got the tax rate of $14.10,
The DOR approves your tax rate, but they
Okay.
do not determine your tax
okay,
rate.
that's fair, I'm sorry.
They'll approve the tax rate, but they
Okay.
don't determine it.
do you have a question?
There's an old saying that a picture is worth 1,000 words. Everybody looks at the picture, but no one ever reads the words, especially if they get complicated like this. Why don't you just get rid of this guy? And I like the who does that, and you just kind of make a little bit of a chart and say, hey, this is the first thing that happens, that's the next thing, that's the next thing, and that's what we end up with. And just make it kind of a, something someone can read down and say, okay, that's what it would look like, a flow chart, you know, with regard to, you know, hey, we get the number approved after we've got something else, and the DOR comes in and puts a stamp on it, and then we have to decide whether we accept it, right? We still have to, then we can blame who we blame. But I would think that's great, it's a nice picture and stuff, but there's a lot of words, and this is not helping me understand all the words. And I agree with all the words, I don't have a problem with it, but this is not something that people are gonna, the assessors might look at it, but it's gonna get shown on the TV across the town, and everybody's really interested in that meeting, especially since it's 2 years ago, it screwed everything up pretty badly.
I think we can condense, at least, you know, I hear you saying try to simplify it a little. I think we could condense a lot of this words. So we can have Board of Assessors does not set tax rate.
Right, start up front.
And then your second one should be the role of
Town
the
meeting.
assessors.
Oh, well, I know you wanted this other one next. Tax rate is set by residents at town meeting.
No, no.
By the tax rate is determined each year as a result of the amount of money the town residents decide to spend at town meeting.
Says
That's how
something.
they spend.
Yeah.
But the tax rate, isn't that approved by the assessor, by the selectmen?
The tax rate is determined from the tax levy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they approve it.
Well, they approve
All they
they
approve
approve
is
the single rate.
the single.
That's right.
Well,
Single rate.
That is right.
Or
So
some of
tax
these other
rate
things
is
that-
determined by levy
Is determined by the levy and divided by the real and
Mhm.
personal property values. The total value. And I did put that, is that okay, that formula that's on the, you want me to make that?
Yeah, so I guess, you know, you had, the Board of Assessors does not set the tax rate, and then you wanted this bullet, if the tax rate is determined each year as a result of the amount of money the town and residents decide to spend at town meeting.
Yep,
Well, the next one is almost the same.
so,
Yeah, we can just cross out one of those.
One of those is redundant.
We can have residents who attend town meeting decide what services the town provides. This impacts the tax rate. No?
Yeah, that one's.
This impacts the tax rate, right? And then it's just simpler. So we've got Board of Assessors to not set tax rate is determined by levy and real and personal property value. Residents who attend town meeting decide what services the town of Lunenburg provides, should be capital T. Decisions impact the tax rate. The Board of Assessors value the property
Right.
for the purpose of equitable taxation based on fair market value.
Yep.
Based on sales.
And then FY '25.
Have you ever seen, Mr. Jim, have you ever seen the town not spend all the money?
FY 2025
There have, accidentally have
was
seen
based
that,
on,
but,
So,
so I'm just saying that the residents can
on
move the funds
2022
around.
sales and 2022
That's
sales.
they sometimes put it in savings, so that's not spending.
Where do you
But
go?
yes,
Yeah.
they
Well,
decide.
The resident makes the decisions of where the
We have
money's to be.
limited amount.
Had limited sales.
Yeah.
I really like this one, just once we get this order straightened out, I think. we're-
Yeah, I might make a copy of what you have.
I'll give it to you. This was done in accordance and with the review of the Mass Department of Revenue.
So the town does spend every month, every penny, but penny, some of pennies go in savings.
So we allocated someplace.
Well,
Does that help?
So we just have to.
Does it just make
Yeah,
sense?
Yeah,
Short
we don't
and
have
then
to
this,
spend.
yeah, this is replaced. So
That's correct.
I'm gonna move these under
all
here.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay. And then
It's a tax
it's just
cap.
fewer words, so
Yeah.
Don't spend it all.
cleaner.
They tend to be too wordy, so.
No.
Maybe she will.
Got a lot of editor.
Yeah.
We do spend a levy.
I mean, they're too brief or too wordy.
But if we
I
go
never
away,
get it right.
No.
you're right. But we can't, it's, the tax lap cap is enormous. We all work.
I think because residents who attend town meetings decide what services the town of Lunar provides, these decisions impact tax rates, I think we can just get rid of that whole part. Or you can just make
The
this
last one?
part bold, yeah,
Okay,
because it's the same thing,
yeah,
and I have a very short slide.
yeah,
Less wordy.
these decisions impact,
Yeah,
so you keep in these decisions. Why is it?
impact the
I thought you
tax
said
rates.
this may impact the tax rate.
Well, no,
These
that's fine.
decisions impact,
They do.
No,
They-
okay,
Yes.
so we'll
They don't
keep it.
may, they do.
So we keep
Impact the
these
tax rate,
decisions
yeah.
and
yeah,
impact the tax. And I'm change it to rate, not rates. Make it simple.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Okay,
Assuming they stay with it.
yeah, oh, that's true,
Single tax
yeah,
rate.
okay.
yeah, I can hear that, yeah.
So this one is a little wordy, but I put it together for
Wait a minute,
the finance committee.
this one is the residential exemption?
So.
So
this-
shouldn't we address the split first?
No, because they're going to decide on these three options. I can move that up if you want.
Nope, I just, since you listed that one
Yeah.
first back here, should we not list it here? Or should we put it last here so that we can then address it this way? There's just an inconsistent,
Yeah, I know what
Well-
you're saying, to this.
just put that top non-bullet, non-numbered bullet
Down
at
the
the
bottom.
very bottom.
Yeah.
And Right. Right, that way they're going through it in a logical flow, and they'll be able to go back to it and say,
Okay.
okay, this is what we do.
Got it.
Okay.
Next one's residential, so they're gonna decide on these three options. Whether or not to adopt the residential exception. We do not currently have this.
Not many communities do it unless they're large communities.
Right.
Small
So-
communities don't do that.
Or resorts.
So I just have a couple of things that you can reduce this a little bit. It's applied to every residential property, which is a principal residence.
Get rid of it.
Yeah. The exemption shifts the tax burden within the residential class from owners of moderately valued residential homes and properties to non-owner occupied properties that include apartments and vacant lands.
So what did you change?
Well, I was having trouble understanding, so I think
It's really, she's trying to get 2 points across in that
Yeah.
one bullet, and that's
so
okay.
the exemption shifts the tax burden within the residential class from owners of moderately valued residential homes and properties to non-owner occupied.
And non-owner occupied
Yeah.
apartments.
To non-owner occupied residences, including apartments and vacant lands?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
So
it's
what are you taking
mostly,
out? Just the
it's
residential?
mostly for apartments.
So I took out the second residential and the fourth line, and the third line, and then after properties, I crossed out that are and I put 2 non-owner occupied residences,
Yeah, that makes sense.
including apartments and vacant
That
land.
flows.
Yep.
Yeah. Adopting a res exemption increases the residential tax rate. The higher rate creates a shift that reduces the taxes paid by homeowners with moderately valued properties.
I'll leave that in.
Yeah. What?
I would leave that whole thing right in.
Right like that? Okay.
Yeah, and especially the one with large cities and towns. And, you know,
I
the
think,
examples,
What's
Boston.
higher
Cambridge.
value, by the way? Is there a number?
Wouldn't they determine a number, a cutoff number where it would be moderate versus higher end? Like, I don't know.
If
like-
this is
I don't
where-
know who would determine that.
Well, I thought that there was something written up, and I wasn't familiar with this one before, but I thought I saw something about $1 million something,
so
but I don't know that.
the way this reads to me is there's a belief that if there are vacation homes and rental properties, that those cost more than the,
Not necessarily.
yeah. So,
No, there's actually several things that address this. And
Yeah.
you're right. It addresses those rental properties,
Yeah.
vacation properties, but it also addresses high-value residences. If you have a very high value, and I thought the thing was like 1,045,000 or something. I'm doing this off the top of my head, but I thought I saw a number like that. We need to know what that number is to put in.
so that is,
If it exists.
Well,
so that's not clear to me from this, like, I'm looking at this and I think, okay, owners of moderately valued homes are going to have not so much tax, because it's gonna be sent to non-owner occupied residents that
and
include.
higher end homes.
Yeah, so that's missing for me.
Right.
So the exemption shifts the tax burden within the residential class from owners of moderately valued residential homes.
So the very first bullet's wrong, right?
No, tax burden within the residential class from the owner of
Because
moderately valued.
If you
Residence
are an
homes.
owner-occupied home, but you have a $1.5 million home, you're probably not eligible for this exemption.
To high-value residential homes and
Right.
non-owner occupied.
But we do need to know the number before we present this.
Okay, well, I mean, it does have to be,
Or do they?
it does have to be their primary residence. So-
Yes, I got that.
So
But
the,
not every primary residence is gonna get an exemption.
no,
No,
So that says that.
okay, so,
Are high value,
it says apply to every
or
residential
Uh-huh.
property,
non-owner.
which is the primary resident. So, yeah.
This
occupied.
is not true. So we need to make sure we understand
let
or
me take
we
that out.
highlight. Well, it applies.
And include apartments and vacant lands.
Right.
Okay, so how does this sound right? The exemption shifts the tax burden within the residential class from owners of moderately valued residential homes
Two.
to properties that are high value or non-owner occupied residences that may include apartments and vacant lands.
yeah.
That's true. So we don't need that very first bullet because that
No, I
bullet
like that out.
actually
That's misleading.
is confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you read that? To properties that are high value non-owner occupied residences that may include apartments and
Okay.
vacant lands. I'll just give you a copy. Okay. So, adopting the residential exemption increases the residential tax rate. This higher rate creates a shift within the class, we're keeping that, right? That reduces the taxes paid by homeowners with moderately valued properties. I think, because this is covering the same, like,
Bring this
the
one
one
up.
side, it's also telling the impact to the others. It should be brought up in a separate bullet. Shift of taxes is then paid by owners of rental properties, vacation homes, and higher valued homes. Okay, and then we need whatever the bullet is, or whatever the cost is.
We gotta find that value.
Are we saying that, like, I'm saying it up here, but
I know,
we're kind of
Ron
repeating it in a
has the
different way?
residential exemption in
But-
Everett.
You know what I'm saying?
Not shocked.
Yeah.
Are we duplicating that?
He gets it, and his house is valued at about
I
600,000.
guess just keep it.
Yeah.
Just keep it.
I think it's over $1 million.
Say it twice.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's over $1 million.
Do
I
you
was
want
reading
to
through so
add
much
a
crap
line
the other
saying
day,
that
I lost
We
it.
We need
Universal-
that number.
has not adopted this residential exemption in the past?
What's
I
that?
saw that, I like that.
Do you want me to put that there?
Yeah.
So Lunenburg, because I did put that on,
Yeah.
Yeah, because we're not a community that, this is a small community, you know, and if you start shifting
You're gonna have to
tax
explain
burdens.
this.
I know. Well, I did,
You can
Well,
help us.
it's,
I didn't know anything about it on Monday.
I didn't want to say too much because
So,
I didn't have
she
all
was
the
biting her tongue.
information. And you know, I was gonna say I can go into my presentation and look it up, I couldn't because we were on Zoom, but
Well, I do think there's a belief that it has to be under the care and control of somebody, some governmental body in town.
What?
Our open space lands.
well,
We're not,
we don't have.
How
any-
you just jumped into
we're
open
not,
space?
Oh,
no,
Sorry.
She just jumped into open space.
I'm missing the commercial.
Well, we don't have anything with
This
the,
is the residential exemption. Sorry,
okay,
I'm ready to go.
Moving on. Moving on up.
she wants to get out of here.
I do, actually.
yeah, he
With
didn't
the
address
work.
half of this, he didn't, yeah.
I appreciate
We paid-
you marking
we
it
paid-
up and
Yes.
critiquing it.
Okay, there was another one. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
The impetus for addressing all of this stuff is the budget task force is asking a lot of questions about how we can change the tax rates, especially for lower income or moderate income residential
Just what
properties.
happens done.
Right.
So these all would affect that, so we need to be able to address them, because otherwise, we're gonna get the questions later on why we didn't. In fact, we might get the questions during the meeting, so let's not do that, let's just
Oh, yes,
Okay.
yes.
head it off.
Because there was another one that I sent.
Because he was looking at Nate's last year, Nate didn't address any of this stuff. Nate did,
No, we did them.
he took a copy of one he did from somebody else, plugged in our numbers, and
You know what?
I don't wanna talk about it.
We had,
It was also, I sent the classification hearing presentation from, I'm trying to think, like Hanover or something else that went real well. And I sent it to you, but it went well.
Was that me?
They didn't, the town didn't throw them off the table.
oh,
Yeah.
we've never been thrown out of the room before either.
I have this,
So I just thought, well, that was a good example, and it was considerably shorter than
I'll
this.
skim.
for the.
We need to be
exemption.
longer this time, because we have to address
I
all
I
this
hear
stuff.
what you're saying. It's
It doesn't
better
say
be
it in there, I know.
specifically overwhelming, but.
I feel like I'm losing control of the meeting, but I'm not sure I need to
That's okay.
control it.
Let it go. I'm trying to just find something else that we might have.
We're looking to see if there's a number for the.
The value?
For the value, and I have this DLS.
Is that an IGR?
It is, well, it's called Living with the Residential Exemption, I found it.
Oh,
So it might say it in there.
Yeah, it's like a resort community.
yep. But what's the high value? I don't know.
I
You know
don't see
what?
it in here.
How about a phone call to Becky?
You guys decide what the high value is.
I don't know if that's voted upon.
Well, she may tell you that it's up to the select board to pick a number. If that's the case, then okay, we'll let them do it. It ain't us, excuse me.
I don't see a number in here, but I just like
I'll
briefly.
call.
But it does refer to high value properties.
High value.
But that will come up, like what is a high value property?
Absolutely.
Yeah. We determine.
Well, and maybe it's a percentage, you know? Anything that's in the top 5% of residential values, we go down to where the top 5% is and
And you're allowed to authorize a residential exemption that cannot exceed the 35% of the average assessed value.
Oh, okay, the select board may adopt a discount up to 35% of the average residential
Yeah, we do
valuation.
that.
Yeah,
So does that mean that we go off of our average single family?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that,
That doesn't, still doesn't tell us
Still
what high
doesn't tell
value is
us what high
considered
value
to be.
is, but I'm just saying, maybe, I'll find out from Becky.
I'll be very upset if my house is considered high value.
We can take care of that for
We
you.
will.
so,
Okay.
once we find that out, I think the rest of that slide's pretty well set.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Next one's open space, which we do not have any open space in Lunenburg
Designated.
You
designated.
cannot say
There
that we
is-
do not have
There
open
is
space
currently
in Lunenburg.
no designated,
Yeah. For tax purposes, right?
well, they don't have a land use code
Yeah.
classified as open space.
Yes,
So land use
exactly.
code is, right, she's right.
That's why we can say that we don't have any open space.
For
Designated open
Designated, I'm
space.
sorry, designated open
tax
space.
purposes.
Yeah.
Those were all the ones that were zeros.
So,
Yeah.
did you read through this? I don't see anything that says
Or-
anything about
or-
these things.
But it's
Right.
merged actually
Well, it
with
doesn't.
land and
It's just
common
what makes a good classification.
for your condos.
Yeah.
And if, well, so if we look at what we got now, and we look at what they're saying,
Later.
we should nail it.
Right.
So this slide talks about what open space discount is. It's land maintained in open or natural condition which contributes significantly to the benefit and enjoyment of the public. It's taxable under the provisions of chapter land under a permanent conservation restriction. It's also land held for the production of income. And the select board may discount up to 25% of the open space percentage share of the tax levy. But there are currently no designated open space properties in Lunenburg for tax purposes.
Yeah, because most of our land, if it's getting a discount, is in chapter.
Yep,
And the other land is under the care and custody of Concom or,
Somebody else.
yeah,
yeah, okay.
Let's
so,
move on now.
That,
okay,
that was easy.
okay,
Just, you gotta say,
that's the last one,
yeah,
designated,
yeah,
I'll have it.
yeah, okay.
Is this the one?
So this one,
Deanna did come to talk about, or is it town meeting?
No.
You want me to come to
Real
us?
estate.
Yeah,
Oh,
if you can.
some
Be
of
calm.
Brian's,
you didn't, I haven't heard from him.
So, well, go ahead.
so this one, I took some of your input on the second page of that, but I did kind of add to the first one, the first slide. Small commercial exemption is designed to provide tax relief for small
Are you
businesses.
following this? Do you know what this one is?
No, I'm sorry,
Oh,
I'm just, I'm sorry.
You don't.
I'm still doing research on
Yeah, don't do
what
that.
the OR says. we
Or
should
if you
do.
do that, don't complain when we do something else.
Okay, I won't, I promise. Okay,
So-
go ahead.
I added a point to this, that it's, the small commercial exemption, it's just designed to provide tax relief for small businesses that own real estate and does not apply to leased small businesses.
So it should be do not, small businesses that do not.
Okay.
And
That own real estate and do not own. Huh?
What?
No.
Designated to
Does
provide
not.
tax relief for small businesses that own real estate and does not apply to leased small
Yeah.
businesses. So,
Oh,
I disagree.
Is that-
that's not true.
no, if you lease a property, you can't get a small, it's not gonna be passed on.
I understand it doesn't get passed on, but you could apply for it. And in fact, if everybody else in that, if you read the thing, if everybody else in that building can apply for this, then you can all apply for it. If one company in that building doesn't qualify, then they can't apply for it. Now, having said that, why would you apply for it? So that your landlord can get some money back.
Well, yeah, the landlord, but if you've got a triple net lease, I think you could probably apply for it, that would be the only.
Yeah, so this is not quite accurate.
But this should be, does not apply.
You're right.
Sorry.
And so if half these people are out, 10 or fewer people, if half of them are out off the space, and you got a 50-person company, and you've got 8 there.
No,
that means
you don't qualify.
No,
You got 50-person company, you don't qualify.
it's only
Well, then
designed.
the average
it's
annual
small.
employment, it's
10
gotta
or
be small.
fewer people.
$1 million, less than $1 million, okay. I might get
Why
that.
don't I just say it does not apply to small businesses that, well, essentially, you have to own the building to get this, unless you've got a triple net lease. How do you want me to write that?
I don't know how you want to write it, but you can, as a leaseor, lessor, is that proud? You could apply for this, but you don't get the value passed through.
So, and
No,
does,
it's
Your
gonna,
landlord gets the money.
right, I tried to say that in the sentence, but
I
I
know,
guess maybe
this-
I'm not wording it
so.
properly.
It does not apply to
lease
least small
for
businesses.
Businesses that own real estate.
It's small businesses that,
Small businesses that lease do not receive the benefit.
correct.
So, on real estate period, small businesses that lease do not receive the benefit.
That's correct. I read this thing about hours and hours.
You got it?
Yeah, okay. So then the tax burden is shifted within the commercial industrial class, so it doesn't apply to personal property.
Right. And there,
So is that sentence okay?
yes. Did you include something here that has no impact on residential either?
I did say some stuff on the second page.
Okay.
Uh,
Oh, there's 2 pages of
Yeah,
this?
so the row
Yeah,
one,
it's
It's a
complicated.
doozy. Okay.
too busy?
No, no,
No,
no,
it's a real.
it's difficult to understand, so
It
it
is.
needs to have a lot of
It's confusing.
Do the selectmen really need to understand this?
yes, because they
Yeah.
have
Yes, they're gonna
to
vote.
They have to
either
vote on it.
vote yea or nay on this.
So, you're gonna read this
Yeah,
to them?
yeah.
Go over, wow, okay,
She's gonna explain all this,
yeah.
answer
Because
some
we got
questions,
that for you.
answer some
You
questions,
have
and
my-
then say,
You have my back with this, right?
Yeah, of
You did
course I
mine.
am.
we're gonna answer some questions, and then say, the Board of Assessors recommends yea or nay.
Uh-huh.
No, this is a joint meeting.
So,
Yeah, but we can have a voice position going in, we can take a position on all this right now.
Okay.
In fact,
John, just meeting, are we at the classification hearing? All of us?
not all of us,
Okay.
he's bailing out.
it's a
on us.
Tuesday, I told you. I said a year and a half ago, I'm not going to meetings on Tuesday, I have
So the
something,
12th
other
and the
commitments.
19th.
I have, this is
Well,
pretty
then-
Sorry, you're gonna stand up and take care of this, right?
She's gonna take most of it.
Oh, I know.
Nate did it last year,
Yeah.
Yeah, we were there for it though.
Yeah, check.
Okay, let's move on.
Okay,
Okay.
and
so,
it only cost us $1,500.
But I know.
Sorry,
so as far as the qualifying criteria, eligible properties must be included on the list provided annually to the assessors by the Department of Labor and Workforce Development.
Yep.
And
That
When you
means-
say eligible properties
that
must
means-
be included on the list provided by the Department of Labor and Workforce Development to the assessors,
Yeah,
feel free.
provided annually by
by
the
the department,
labor.
So the implication
to
of
the
that,
assessors.
for anybody that, if you want to explain more while you're doing it, the implication of that is whoever owns this company must be paying unemployment taxes. So they must have employees. So
You
it
can't
doesn't
just-
really apply, it doesn't really help anybody who's a real mom and pop operation,
Shop, it doesn't help,
not at all.
which is what we would be doing this for, right?
This was intended to help out small businesses, and it only helps out a really small section of small businesses.
And we
That was
did
your
a
point.
commercial
Why don't you
list,
fill it out
just
for
don't
the
know
landlord
if
so
you
he
have
can
that
make the money?
number of how many
We'll do it. I'll do it.
small, but we're not gonna know how many have under 10
You're not gonna
employees.
have, well, you're not gonna know how many actually carry unemployment and have,
Kind of hard for us to turn.
and it's like somewhere between 2 and 10, that's not on the business page, is it?
I don't think that's in our canvas system, right? We
No.
don't know that.
No, we don't know that.
So we,
So they have to apply, they'll have to
They
fill out
have
an
to apply and fill it
application.
out.
There is an application online, it says no application is
I think
necessary,
you-
and there's an application.
I think when they ask, well, how many does this
Okay.
apply to, it said, that is not data that we have, we will only know after they apply.
and when we
If
get
they're
data
eligible.
from, and when we get
And
information.
from the Labor, Department
Yeah.
of Labor and Workforce.
But we don't know
Or
who that is in town.
If we don't get them on a report from the Department of Labor or whomever,
We know that they're,
but they got it last year, we may include them. Isn't that crazy?
do we have this already?
I don't have any-
No,
Oh,
no.
So,
And I gotta make another note on the bottom.
No, the
that
answer,
Lunenburg.
When we get through these, we'll take a recommendation on each and every one of them.
On the second
You
page,
already have it.
yes,
Lunenburg
Lunenburg
is
is
not
not
adopted.
adopted this
You
morning.
already got that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
should I move it up to the
In
first?
fact, the
First
font's
page?
pretty-
Yeah, because it's not a pro or a con, it's
I'll
just a
move- I'll
fact.
move
Observation.
Yeah.
So move it to
Yeah.
first.
in front, we've not done this.
Okay,
You
it's
don't
not
want to.
adopted. Okay, so down on the pros.
I like the use of the blues.
Oh, no, she's at
No, no.
pros, she's at pros.
So
Oh, still the
I
pros.
did add some of the cons that you sent to me, I added them to this.
Hopefully word them better than I did.
Well, I tried. Do you like the pro? Local adoption will provide a measure of tax relief to qualifying small business if they qualify. Or is that too many
You
qualifiers?
said qualifying already, don't need to say if they qualify.
Okay,
Qualifying small business.
okay, period. The exemption will increase the CI tax rate and will not reduce residential taxes. CNI. The exemption, if granted, is borne by the commercial and industrial properties, but not by personal property.
Correct.
Do we need to write if granted? I think it's understood.
Exemption if granted, that's right. The exemption.
Exemption is born.
Oh, take out
Yeah,
granted.
take out the if, yep, that's if granted.
Exemption,
Property tax, I love this one. So all of the other small businesses in town get whacked.
Yeah,
yeah, maybe,
even the mom and pops that don't qualify.
Right.
yeah.
You should make that really big.
Well, she talked really close,
Yeah. Well, she made
about that.
And the tax benefit may be realized by the property owner of a building and not the small businesses that lease.
Lease,
Yeah,
Pick up the
Just-
deed,
no, just the lease, yeah.
that lease,
Yeah.
okay,
And it's not necessarily a building, it could be property, right?
yeah.
So we'll just leave lease.
And adoption of this exemption for the current tax year may lead to a disruption in our tax billing cycle, as well as stress to the FY 2025 overlay account.
The other thing that I wrote, we probably shouldn't put down here, but essentially we wind up with 4 tax rates. Because we got a tax rate for our residences, we got a tax rate for personal property, we got a tax rate for those people who are exempted, and we got a tax rate for those people who are not exempted. So we essentially have 4 tax rates. If we do a split tax rate later on, we got at least 5, and I think it's 7.
And the way Munis is, it can't even handle one.
Can't
tax
handle
rate.
one.
Has to handle 5,
So,
And you might want to bring that up.
maybe. Do
feel free.
you want me to say that?
I want, not write it,
Okay,
Just say it.
but in, you know,
They need
we
to know.
couldn't
what
write-
With the current
we couldn't-
billing system, we may have a problem.
we couldn't get all the cons on one page.
yeah,
So we decided to just stop here and tell you about some of the other ones.
Yeah.
but
yeah.
I like your argument that we could end up with 5 of them.
We could end up with, if they then adopt a split tax rate,
Yeah,
we could have as many as 7, I
really.
think.
Can you, I would write that up, I would include that.
It's not-
Because they
And
don't.
well, she might want to
Another
say,
1%,
I-
9 of them are
Right.
the
I don't think I
condos
want to
that
write
are
it.
on
I just want them to
the
go,
new condos.
well, we don't
That's
want
why
that.
you always
We
went
don't
up,
want
yeah,
that.
the
yeah,
nine.
want that.
Yeah, because of the, we had them as commercial, but then Mike Torello changed them to industrial.
Industrial.
So that was our increase
Why,
to
why
industrial.
are they industrial?
Because
because they're built like garages.
Yeah.
They're not, right.
They have garage doors, they're
So-
very industrial buildings.
Okay.
I would,
they're not condos.
before we get to the
They
split
are
tax rate.
actual
Yeah.
condos.
Oh, should I wait? I'll just
People
wait.
buying them, but
I just wanted to get a motion on the table and have these voted
Well,
on.
they know they're gonna
They
decide,
look like-
I'm gonna ask.
Each of, no, we need to make a
they're big
recommendation to
garage
them
doors.
Oh, okay.
that the Board of Assessors recommends.
No.
So, on the open space discount,
$350,000.
Do you want me to do another page?
Put in one.
Sorry, I was trying to understand the industrial condo.
right, I like
Bigger
it.
ones.
You're on the street just past Townsend Harbor Road.
Yeah, there's-
Those industrial
Let's go.
condos,
You can
those
see
big,
'em.
just kind of like metal buildings with a garage door and they got a little office
They
in the
must be
back.
pretty robust.
Well, they have bathrooms, they have
Yeah.
power, they have, you know, And then you can fit your
But
own
they're
out
very
for whatever you
industrial
want.
inside, it's not apartment, it's
So-
floors.
For the open space disc, these are different order, aren't they?
I'm wondering if that page,
This is a
maybe,
different
I
order.
have to have another page on the back that may have them make a decision on
But
all of
these
those.
are in different
You're-
order
you're-
again.
I don't think I've sent a pink sheet.
They're only stapled,
That's
she
only
can
the,
change
that's
them.
only the first
It's-
page, that's the
it's fine.
second page.
No, I'm way back at the beginning, but
Oh, okay.
you listed open space, residential exemption, and small commercial exemption.
Yeah.
But the first one we run into is the residential exemption
Oh, he's
and
just,
then
Oh,
open space. So
oh,
just
yeah.
put them in the same
it
order.
just says.
Yeah.
Pick whatever order you want,
Oh, yeah, they were out of the,
but put them in the same order.
okay,
It's the presentation.
yeah.
So, for the residential exemption, we've had a robust discussion about residential exemption. I would entertain a motion to whether we approve or disapprove of adopting that.
I would make the motion, we do not adopt this.
All of them.
Yeah.
Also, well,
We'll
I
just
want
have
to do
the
them one at a
president.
time,
I
because
think
we need
he's
to talk
doing
about them
one
one at a time. I just want to address them one at a time, so then we have them all done. And then,
Yeah, I don't see that as actually protecting,
correct.
um,
I don't think we, personally, I don't think we have enough rental businesses or, well,
so
rentals.
somebody was trying to do a rental and it got drummed out.
If we had a lot of homes that were, multi-million-dollar homes,
Yeah,
we have a few, but we don't have very many of those. So the implication there is,
they're gonna pick up a huge tax, like, it's a lot. If we go moderate and dump it on what, 6 or 7 large homes, that makes no
and
sense.
a couple of rentals.
Yeah, no,
So,
no, that's foolish, in my opinion.
so we vote to not support adoption.
So the motion was to not support adoption of the residential, I seconded it.
Any further discussion? Aye?
Uh-huh.
Okay, we don't want that one. We got
How
the,
about, can I suggest we change that, we make a motion to reject a residential rate, because to not adopt.
he made the motion, he would have to modify it?
I would accept that, I would
Yeah,
accept that.
does that make sense?
Yeah,
Um,
it's the same thing.
So the motion is to reject
A
Adoption.
adoption of the residential exemption.
Yes,
Right,
And we will all revote aye.
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 Open space discount doesn't really apply, so we do, I don't even know if we need to take a position, we probably should say,
We don't have it.
doesn't affect us.
And honestly, how would somebody get that open space
Designation,
designation?
I don't know of any communities that actually use that.
Because
Right.
everything's in chapter,
Yeah,
owned
or-
by, or in
Chapter.
care of.
Carolyn and stuff.
Yeah, so we have no position on that one.
right.
What was the other one?
Small commercial
Small
exemption.
commercial exemption.
No. Oh, sorry.
Would you like to make a motion to reject?
I make a motion to reject the small commercial exemption.
Second.
Any further discussion? Actually, I have one thing to say.
Mm-hmm.
That is, as the, the pressure that we got from the business, budget task force was, how can we move some of these taxes over to Walmart and take them off our mom and pop shops? We really can't.
Yeah. No, we can't do
You
that.
can't.
You
And by
can't
the
do
way,
preferential, yeah.
well,
No,
they
they-
meant
you
Walmart
do.
as in
Yeah,
general,
like
but
big stores.
Walmart, we got Hannaford,
But
we've
you
got a
have to
couple of
go by
commercial.
their INEs.
Yeah.
Said that, but I saw this.
What about the Unitil building?
And the unit, so that, we took a list of the top commercial value properties in the community. And, some of them are Keating's.
Yeah.
We've got the Walmart complex, I'll call it, because it's not owned by Walmart, so Walmart wouldn't get any benefit from this. The owner of the property would get the benefit if they applied.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it's, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Well, actually, so they wouldn't get the benefit, they would actually get stuck with some additional tax.
And
So,
also,
sorry.
the TOR really doesn't like you shifting unless you're at least 10% of commercial.
Yes, I get it.
We're in 4%.
Well, no, that's,
We're
it's,
four
so this is an exemption, this is not a shift. The shift is the split tax, so we have to address this separately, but correct that we don't have enough commercial property.
Well,
And we have,
To shift the
we spoke with a small commercial
yeah.
owner,
Home,
this-
business, own several businesses.
owns several
in town.
businesses in town. And the comment was, if my taxes were to be raised by as much as 50%, because that's how much it could be,
Yeah.
with the split tax, we'd have to move out of town. We'd have to move our business somewhere else.
Well,
And
and
the other comment was, they donate a lot to youth groups in town. And the extra money, they would no longer donate to softball teams,
Since the
baseball
tax
teams,
burden would be going up, they would not have that kind of free money to be.
to
Well, and
donate
I
to the
think-
children.
I think the intent in looking at this commercial is certainly laudable. They're trying to have these large corporations taxed at a higher rate to support smaller businesses. But the way the small commercial exemption is
It
written,
doesn't work.
But
it doesn't do that. It dumps it on even smaller businesses for the most part.
Massachusetts property tax
Yeah,
doesn't address somebody's goodwill because they are a huge company.
yeah,
And we can't value that
that doesn't
into
show
their
either.
value. So,
Yeah,
so,
so,
so the bottom line is, I think we need to take a position on the small commercial exemption, which,
yeah, so I make a motion to reject the small commercial exemption. Or support for the small commercial, yeah.
Do you want me to say, after I've discussed these in the presentation, that the Board of Assessors recommends? Or has to take-
Rejection, yes.
Recommends
Well,
a
in this
rejection.
case, rejection.
we
And
don't get to
explain
make the rejection, they do.
Yeah,
Right,
But we
Yeah,
recommend,
recommend rejection.
You
we
might want to say
recommend
at the meeting,
rejection.
the board took a position that they would advise the selectmen to reject these.
yes. Because of the impact on other small businesses.
Correct,
And um,
correct.
larger businesses that donate considerably to the town.
Right,
Questions, Chairman?
yeah.
Okay, you get 4% commercial, and you get 1% industrial, so that's 5%, right? And the personal property, isn't most of that still industrial or commercial?
Personal property is the contents of
The
a
buildings,
business.
machines and stuff like that, yeah.
You know, they're, like in a doctor's office, it's their equipment, you know, in
Okay.
insurance, it's their.
So we're only talking specifically the building or the land and the building itself? And that,
No, that's
No.
not personal property.
right. The industrial
It's
piece,
the contents of buildings.
yeah, it's the contents, which we
It's
tax
personal
separately.
property.
yeah.
Yes,
Right, and we're taxing that
yes.
on top of the other ones, so they're already getting it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So, yeah. We haven't moved,
Our-
we haven't moved off this one yet, so let's
Oh, okay.
move on.
Okay, so,
So I just wanted to, we didn't take a vote on this one. There was a motion on the small business
yeah, oh,
exemption,
yeah.
but we did not take a vote,
We-
because
we
I
actually-
added something to there, and I wanted to have that conversation so we knew what was going
Yeah.
on. So, anyway, are we ready for a motion? I mean, are we ready for a vote?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I,
All in
fine.
favor? In favor of rejecting adoption of,
small commercial.
thank you. Now we can move on.
I'm gonna say, community, to do like the sports team, the schools, sports teams, and community
Community engagement and support,
events or,
community financial support.
bless you,
Okay.
Bless you.
Community service support, community.
Activities.
activities,
Yeah.
thank you.
Because we used to have somebody that would donate skids for a big bonfire in the town. We don't have it anymore.
I remember that,
Bless you.
Big, huge bonfire.
I remember that
That's
before
what
the,
it's called.
that was
My
fun.
sinuses, that's what was killing me.
One away.
So,
Well, we're gonna do that with the Brooks House, right?
What a great idea.
I'm pretty sure that would be a hazmat.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I mean,
So we're on to this,
So the next one is to my
Her pie chart
pie chart that I spent so much time working on.
on a flight to
Good
vacation.
job, good job.
I had to
That's
get help
great.
with the arrows today, but we figured it out.
You did this be Excel, I can do help.
Excel and then
Yeah,
put it into PowerPoint and
yeah.
so this is the percentage and the assessed values for the 4 classes here.
okay.
I would almost leave up for this, like, okay, this is the way
it's
it
actually
is.
5 classes, but we don't have the other
We don't have
classes.
the other classes. We're not taxing next
Is
week.
that the open? Is that the
We
open?
can't give them a tax break, because we don't have any.
Because I think, by the way, once you put this slide up, the argument's kind of like, there isn't really, don't bother with it, bother with this, all this stuff.
And then
Well,
this is just,
Hey, Joe.
The question comes down to, Joe.
so
Go ahead.
this is just, the next one is just
So-
over the years to show,
Just before we do that, so as we're heading into this, we're now talking about the split.
yes.
So
So
should
we
we
probably
have
gotta have
a slide,
a slide that says split in there.
considering the split levy, whatever, just a transition.
Well, I am gonna get to that further on, so I don't know if you want me to put in a page that,
Well, it's just, I don't know where we're going when I see this. I'm like, oh, cool, interesting
please.
information.
well,
What am I thinking about here?
in summary, since I have a lot of information in here.
You do?
Do you think it's too much?
No?
No,
No,
it's
I
fine.
like, listen, I like this one. You gotta tell me, we have not grown our industrial base basically at all.
Commercial,
You want
industrial.
this-
Commercial,
Fiscal year.
we're, whatever we're supposed to be doing, we're not getting it done,
So,
if we want
It's going down.
it. Yeah.
So if you wanna,
just do a 1 page, you want me to put a page in here that says,
and it could have some more stuff on it, some of the other stuff that you might have back here.
well, why don't I just have a 1 page that says it, and now some information
Oh, here it is.
to, I mean, I get further on the split, but I don't know if I need to have a page.
It's a transition into the split.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
once you're done talking about this stuff,
So,
Exemptions to tax rate.
and now just say, and
no,
now,
this is split rate.
and now to go further on to the split tax rate, but I'm gonna provide some data
Yep,
before that.
And this is,
Context to consider,
Yeah,
single
this
or
is
split
true.
tax.
Okay,
and
so,
by the way, this also adds credence to the fact that DOR doesn't want anything less than 10%.
so
Yeah.
maybe just say select.
It just says,
Yeah.
Selecting
We're
a
getting
single or
worse.
split
Yeah.
tax rate. Question?
Well, they're gonna vote on all these at the end, so
yep,
I
Yeah.
probably need to put,
A recommendation.
I don't even know if I should maybe put that in the back, I don't know.
we need a recommendation page
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah.
That here's what we recommend, and let the select board do what they want.
Okay.
We can't
Got
stop
it
that.
in here.
So, do you want me to add a recommendation page after the commercial? The Board of Assessors does not, no, I'm just gonna say it.
Well,
We take it all the way to the
all-
end.
Put it at the bottom, this one, big letters.
it's the one just before this that says,
Yeah.
here's the recommendations. You have to take a vote on these 4 items,
Yep,
and here's what our recommendation is.
yeah,
That's all.
okay. So,
So split, single or
So-
split does.
yeah, so my next is gonna be whether or not select a single or split tax rate, and I've got some information that I'm gonna provide to you before I go further into that. So it'll be just a 1 page sheet that I'll add.
I mean, and you're getting to this page
Yeah,
next.
so this is,
We don't have very much commercial.
no. 92% of Bloomberg is
Industrial.
residential.
Yeah.
Commercial is 4%, industrial is 1%, and personal property is 3%. So we don't even have 10%.
Yeah,
And hence the 5%.
which is the recommended for split.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, if you say that when you're looking at the pie chart, when they're looking at this pie chart,
Yeah, I can even put
you know,
it
10% is recommended for your split. We don't even get to that if we combine industrial, personal property, and commercial.
Or, to look at it another way, this. So
We
you've
don't
got,
get it here either.
you've got this,
Yeah,
and then you can say, how are we gonna say it?
no,
You know, to look at it another way, here's where we are.
over the past 5 years, we've kind of stayed
We've hovered under 10%.
Well,
under,
Actually, it's dropped a little bit, 23 it's
Yeah.
dropped,
Right,
Yep.
went up a slight bit, and that's probably because of those new commercial condos,
yeah.
the industrial
The
condos.
industrial condos.
And
well, what
that,
about the warehouse, or that's not fitted up yet? Oh,
that's was in last year.
Okay,
Right,
so that was the
Oh,
8% in 2024?
yep. It only went up because of one
One
development,
building.
and this one went up because of or stayed up because of one development.
And it's, that one development from the previous year isn't even occupied.
Right.
Right, we don't wanna drive people out of town.
They haven't yet,
Perfect.
okay.
Now, if you want me to move this stuff up front and save I can move the
I want to.
Assessors back.
Personally, I would rather show them all this other stuff, say, we've looked at a lot of options,
Yeah.
we've looked at a lot of options, and the last option I'm gonna show you is the split rate.
Okay,
And that's my preference, but I don't know how the
You
rest
like
of the
the
board
No,
one-
feels.
I like this order,
do you?
That's fine.
because I mean, this is a lot of data.
Yeah,
The other stuff is not as much data, so they can get a clear picture of that, and then they can, ooh, again, 92% for 1-3. I mean, it's here, it's
Here.
here,
yeah.
it's here again, and that is honestly what people need when they're getting a deluge of information. You just see
Get it a couple times, and you got three different formats, just numbers, the bar chart, and I kind of like that.
It's just a lot of information, so I'd like to have it in a couple
Actually,
different ways. It's good.
Just thinking out loud, shoot me. Could we maybe put these two charts on one page, side by two each,
That might be a little difficult.
make them small?
No, don't,
You
they
don't
gotta
want
get
I know,
the check.
the pie chart,
You know
the
how
pie
many-
chart,
You know how much time is.
the way that,
That was
no,
a whole trip
I-
to Mexico.
getting those,
If you'd
well,
like to do it.
Why don't you leave it?
unless that is saved as an image on her slide, as soon as she tries to shrink it, she's gonna have to redo all of those labels.
Yeah, so you take this as an image, take this as an image, you put them on the page and then shrink them and be done.
I think you'll be able to read it, that's why I made it bigger, so.
You haven't uploaded on
That's
this.
fine.
I'm okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Unless you
if I
want to
could-
do it.
That's,
I get what
this is
you're
a
saying,
great
though.
chart. It demonstrates that essentially we're well below whatever. But there's a milestone here that you might want to bring up. This is the first time the average family home has gone over $500,000.
Oh.
Oh,
That is a big number. Average single family home value, 504,397. And it's up 5%.
by the way, it's not average,
I need to actually change that
That's
median
average,
to
that's
average.
it's
That's
median.
median, okay.
Most people think of average as median.
Median.
It's not,
Median.
oh, here it is,
But in the
It
case,
says median for
I'm
the
sorry,
commercial
I need to
industrial,
change that
but
to
it's,
average.
which one?
Median should be average.
They're both really median.
Do you want me to change the wording to median? I can, I mean, it's median.
I don't care. If you want to leave them up there, but just, don't even change this one. Because when somebody says, what's average mean, it's not mean.
yeah.
No,
So-
In assessing,
the middle.
it never means
Me.
the mean.
Right.
Because we have some outliers that drive the mean friggin' crazy.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the average is not a great way to look at it, that's why you put median there. But the fact is, that's a significant number.
This median is an average. There are three different types of averages, as you know.
Yeah.
So when she says average here, it's not incorrect, it's just the median.
Yeah.
She says median here, that's not incorrect either, it's the median, so,
okay.
Yeah,
okay,
okay.
now leave it.
So,
Okay.
in either case, $500,000 now to live in town.
Yeah.
And guess what, your property values, if you, a homeowner in Lunenburg, you've just picked up another $20,000 or so, $25,000 in the value of your house.
On average, but not necessarily for any particular house.
Right. Just know.
All right, so
Yeah.
our tax levies.
Oh, and I wanted to say one other thing. So the 7.7%, why would you want to penalize commercial business, which is starting to
Any
rise
further?
any further than
Yeah.
7.7%?
It's
Drive
already
out.
pretty good height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So the next pages, we are waiting on the finance director
Yep.
to put them in gateway, so I don't know the debt exclusions, I can't determine the levy. We actually took what was in gateway from last year and populated these fields, we know our growth. So they're just in here blank, because I don't have any other information.
So I guess I'm wondering why we have both of these slides, because it's right here.
One of them, this is
One
just a,
should-
one's just a, maybe I could change the summary, because this is, I put this one in here to show how the levy increased from year to year comparison.
Oh, I see,
So
because this is 2024 and
Oh, okay.
2025, and
And I
that's
don't-
just 2020, okay. I just was like,
No, they're both.
No, it's 24, 25, yeah.
well, you have the levy just up here for 2024, and then you have it down here for
Oh, Yeah, I
2025.
see what you're saying. So maybe I take out that bottom one.
Take that, or take out the whole
Yeah,
slide.
Just take out slide
this
14 and talk about it on 13,
Move slide 14 to,
yeah.
Oh, it's there.
Well, you have it here already, really.
13.
You've got the levy limit here for
Yeah.
2024.
So you can just do away.
The change.
Yeah,
and move that to, I'll take that and move this to,
yeah,
move that bottom
just
one.
to
This
make it a little easier, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Next one is?
The single tax rate.
But we don't know that.
So we don't know that. We know what our total valuation is, and we know what last year's tax rate was, so I can't determine
Yeah,
the change.
yeah, you gotta get the levy
We
first.
have that.
So what, I have a question, just,
Yeah,
should that be a times 1,000 or should it be divided by 1,000?
times 1,000.
I don't know.
So you're gonna add three more zeros to that? Why is that times 1,000?
That's tax, that's the problem.
Isn't it per $1,000?
It is per thousand.
So this 2360 is what?
But
The value of the town.
when I take the
Okay.
levy, I divide that by the value, and then I multiply that by 1,000, and that's gonna give us a tax rate.
Take the value.
Because it's confusing the way I have the divided line is,
Oh,
I
because,
don't have the number.
oh.
So I'm
So
gonna
because you're
divide.
dividing by the tax levy, most of that goes out.
And then I take that number and times it by
So-
1,000, and that gives us the tax.
So let's say it's like 250
250 what?
million.
Well, if it's
That's
31, I think
Billions, billions.
we,
Times 1,000, but I thought when we're
Right.
assessing land, I thought it was per $1,000.
Yeah,
The tax rate is
Yeah.
per 1,000,
Yeah,
right.
but
yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
this,
that's the valuation.
it's
It's
confusing
different.
because the divided line, there's no number above it, so it's really division.
where's the divided line?
So the
Well,
tax
it's where
levy
the
is on the
dollar
top.
sign is,
Valuation.
and there's nothing else with it.
So if you extend that line, if you.
Oh, there's supposed to be a number,
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
the
number
dollar sign is the
I have
levy,
no
we don't
number
have
there.
Yeah,
but there's,
And then you multiply, so you divide the tax levy by the valuation and multiply that by 1,000.
so this is, okay.
I did not see that as a
Sorry.
division.
I-
Yeah,
So this line will extend to whatever size it needs to be when it's here, then we'll know this is a
And then,
divided
Yeah.
by.
yeah,
yep. And
Okay,
that
Okay.
that looks right now, yeah,
when I change this to a line, I go, okay.
yeah.
I should have kept the line expanded.
No, even that's fine, I just
Well,
didn't
you know, it's
understand.
summarized to the
when-
dollar, it's okay.
When you put the numbers in, the line will automatically be there, so it's
Yeah.
gonna look like what it's
It's gonna look
supposed to look like.
Yeah,
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
so, and we kind of did this experiment based on a levy of 31,602,108 the other day, so for the budget task force. So I could have plugged that in there, but we don't know yet, so.
Yeah.
Right. So the next page that says 17 on it?
So the next page that says 17 should be FY 2025 estimated tax rates. So we did this the other night, I actually made this into a much better chart that wasn't so busy, and I took 4 scenarios that were recommended by Carter, and did the CIP shift, and he wanted me to indicate the tax bill for a $325,000 home, a $600,000 home, and a $1.2 million home. And I did the same thing for the commercial, and did the breakdown. I got these rates, these tax rates from the options table in Gateway, and I put in that $31 million levy.
So
And this
there's
is
a
how-
capability to do what if,
Yeah,
and this is basically what if.
this is
Yeah,
what it
that's the what if scenario.
So this kind of shows you, based on the chart, of why we would not want to do a split tax rate, because if you look at the commercial tax bill, it goes up dramatically,
Yeah.
whereas the residential bill really
Hardly goes down.
doesn't decline that much,
And
so,
that represents our numbers, you know,
Yeah.
92% residents and,
yeah.
Yeah,
so, you know, you're pushing it on to 4% of your whole community. Is it 4% or, did I have that right? Where's that pie chart?
Oh, yeah, the
4% commercial, yeah.
Yeah. so-
Yeah, you're trying to push all the tax load onto 4%
Well-
versus
It's commercial and industrial.
yeah.
commercial 5%.
I like the disclaimer too, good job.
Well,
Because their personal property doesn't get in that tax rate, does it?
No.
So it's 5%,
Right.
so pushing something that's distributed across 92% of our tax base onto 5%.
yeah,
And so their rates go up
So this 20,
in an insane amount. I mean, this, if we do a CIP shift of 1.5%, right? Our commercial value for like 600,000, instead of it being $8,034 in taxes, if we go to a 1.5 shift, they now pay $12,000 for 600,000. That's the middle range of what we
So
got
that's-
here.
not 1.5%, that's a
Oh,
50% increase.
oh,
Yeah.
oh, a 0.5.
yeah, it's percentage.
50%.
I just want to make sure we're reading it.
Thank
the
you.
same.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's a
Well, the
lot.
shift is done in whole numbers, so, or decimal numbers to 2 positions.
Thank you.
So 1
I did
is
not know.
100%, everybody gets 100%.
Everybody gets 100%. And this person gets 150%, not 1%. Thank you.
Well,
And so like the other one would be 130%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15%, 30%, 100. You,
That's a lot.
when they vote, they're voting on residential factor of 1, meaning it's the same.
So if you note, at 1, everybody's tax rate is 1339 in this example,
Yeah,
and the tax rate for 1.5 only goes down to 1277
Yeah.
for all the residential built,
yeah,
properties.
because it's across 90% of our stuff, yeah.
Right.
Your coffee.
And the commercial
Why
rate
is
is
almost
also
in every coffee?
20%.
You got one?
It's,
Thank you.
so,
That's a lot.
the next slide says 2024
Yeah,
classification
so
data.
just a review from last year's data. I wasn't able to figure out the levy percentage, the change in that, but it has the valuation from last year, the tax rate, they were pretty much the same. And it was voted on March 12th, that's when the select board voted,
Yep.
the single
Yep.
CIP shift,
Yep.
residential factor of 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a nice little one there, yeah.
All right, Peter.
And the next slide is just a tax rate history, just showing that historically we have had a single tax rate. And then
So you'll be able to fill out 2025
I will,
when we have this stuff.
once I have the rest of the information, yeah,
So-
of what we will recommend.
You will need another slide that is the recommendation of the board, us. So do I hear any motion about a recommendation for a split or not split tax rate?
I would recommend we adopt a not split position.
Single.
A single
We
tax.
continue to stay with a single
Single
tax
tax
Yes.
rate.
I second the
So, do
motion.
you want me to make another slide or just mention that the Board of Assessors recommends?
All of the
Just
recommendations.
put them all in one slide,
You
yeah.
put all the recommendations on one slide, right at the end.
Right before the,
Okay, so I'm gonna take out the
right before they
slide.
have a nice day.
Right before the picture one.
So I'm gonna take out that little slide where you asked me to put that, I was gonna say, okay, so now onto our single tax rate. We put another one on the back.
Yeah,
So it's still 19 pages,
yeah.
including peaches.
So the terms,
That goes to the very back, even after the picture,
the
Yeah.
last.
because it's sort of like an index.
Yeah, okay, all right, so,
We all love indexes.
Glossary.
We do.
so we only need another sheet.
That's what you call that.
It's like glossary.
Hey, but this might beg a question, why such a big reduction from 22 to 23, what happened?
We value, the values of the community went up.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that
That's
affects.
fine.
Yeah,
Your tax-
Yeah, because you can only levy increase the 2.5%.
Do you remember what happened?
No.
Some values on some
Thank you.
Lake
That's on page.
properties went friggin' crazy.
Oh, that's right, I heard that, yeah.
Do a page.
So I'm surprised you forgot.
No, I just didn't know if that, okay, but the values of Lake still continue to climb up, but nothing.
But they're climbing,
But
they're climbing.
it was 1774, and then 1790, and then it dropped $3.
Yeah.
$2.
Because the property value in
Oh,
town, the
that's
total
right.
value of
But
property.
yeah.
Values go,
But
the tax rate goes
didn't
down.
we recover that?
What do you mean?
Didn't that also, we readjusted the lakes,
Well,
and then the residential, was it all residential, but,
Don't they that you gave back $1.5 million in
Yeah.
payments?
yeah,
yep.
Oh, actually, also does not recommend
that's still, okay.
And then we had a full
Does not
revaluation.
recommend
And most of those lake properties didn't go down at that point, they
Right.
didn't go up.
Yeah.
the-
residential
Wasn't
back.
18% or?
No.
No, here it is.
And I think the waterfront went up.
Does not recommend
8%.
adopting a residential
I think
exemption,
it was 8%.
an open space
And the
discount,
condos were up
discount,
30.
Maybe.
nor
Some-
Condos did go up 30, yeah.
So,
a small commercial exemption.
did we actually vote on the single rate?
No.
Did we
Seconded.
vote to?
I think we seconded it, I don't know if, so I think we,
We
any
recommend.
more discussion about that?
No.
Okay, we recommend
recommend
for
a
single
One.
rate,
Yeah.
thank you. So I think you're ready to go.
And I love it, we leave it with a positive, we recommend a single tax, right? Instead of
Yes.
being opposed to so many things.
Well, and maybe we should say recommend on those other ones instead of reject, but I don't care.
Now I'm asking the board.
Well, we just wrote it, does not recommend adopting those first three,
To
Right,
but we do recommend adopting a single tax.
I like that.
Nice little sandwich.
Okay. We move on to the next item?
Oh, there's more?
Yeah. There.
You have a piece of paper you'd like to put on the website, so we're talking about the website.
I have some stuff to put on the
So
website.
hang on,
Yeah, I know.
she's ahead of you.
Is there still water in there?
If I can
You
find
don't
it.
charge you tomorrow.
Brian's gonna keep you busy.
I'm building a rail for my stairs.
Good job. You didn't even show up.
Thanks.
Huh? She did underneath.
Yeah, she just.
Thank you very much for your input, everyone, I appreciate it.
No,
That's okay. That was a nice piece of work, it really
Oh,
was, good
thank
job.
you.
Good job.
Well, I appreciate your comments. It's always good. I'd rather have you pick a fun than.
Well, as soon as somebody goes, I don't understand.
No, I'm sorry. Sounds good.
As soon as somebody goes, I don't understand. Then
All right.
you're busy
what page?
explaining. Well, this was the one that Rena had sent. I don't think that we suggested any modifications to that. You got that?
No, I'm not remembering anything. You know what I did yesterday, starting at 4:05 yesterday?
I don't know, but it wasn't our work.
Just read
It
through
wasn't
it.
our work.
Just read through it.
Okay, I like it. Yeah. I think I saw something like that, okay,
It-
It's just informational.
yeah, yes.
And it would be just it's a document that Carol will put out, and then we'll just have a click on it.
Yeah.
And it's- and I don't know what the title though, what title should we use on it?
Public information release.
Okay with that.
Yeah. The percent change.
Oh, is that, can you be fine? That's it.
5.2.
Okay, yeah, that's right, 5.2%.
Where do we want the pointer?
We just put it on the front page.
Down the bottom of the front page as it exists today? At the top of the front page because it's a information release. This is the idea about doing information releases, so.
Put it at the top.
Okay.
Is it, can we get it in the news section of the front site?
News,
Oh.
the town?
Town, yeah, it's got a news section out that brings up stuff, and I know you go read that. I should, something like that, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't want to pay attention to that.
Look at this, Carol.
We have our tabs, the tabs were added in,
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed it's been changing.
and
Have you been getting fewer phone calls?
no complaints, so,
Okay.
yeah.
That had
Yeah,
the
no
desired
problem.
effect.
No,
Yeah.
no phone call looking for where things are
Yeah.
is what we
Which
were
is good.
shooting for.
Yeah.
So,
I have some points.
based upon some, well, it did change a lot over the period of a week. There was a mistake, there was a misunderstanding, and there was a software glitch. The misunderstanding was everything got put on the side, so we had a huge long list of stuff out here, and some stuff got dropped, that was the misunderstanding. It all got moved back to where we wanted it, and we still have the two bullets at the side that say citizens and assessors. The software glitch was, if you clicked on site index, if you recall, we used to have a department.
Yeah,
We decided to add a board. So you get to the board pointed to the department. So there was one thing in the site index for the board, it was the department website, none of the other stuff that's in the department. If we had drilled down further, which I did, to find the department site index, it's all there.
It's there.
So I went back to Kara and said, if we only get one, we need to have it on the board side, I think, because that's where people go to us first. She said, the software should have picked it up. So I don't know why it didn't do that, but I think I can make it happen on both. So I believe today, if you go to the site index for either the department or the board, you'll get a full site index, which is basically a table.
There's three of them right now.
Three what?
There's three indexes. One's the, I can't read it. One's the, I can't read it.
You can't read it
I
either.
can't remember the printer. Anyway, in any case, there were three of them in like a few hours ago, not just two.
So what's the third one?
You can't read it.
Okay. Assessors,
find
what do you call it, by
What's-
location, a value by assessed value by location.
Well, that's not what I was talking about, I was talking about the site index, that's not the site index. The site index is down the bottom, if you click on the bottom,
Okay.
but you didn't,
I did, actually.
okay.
And I could make some other suggestions, but like this one?
Yeah, is that, did you pull up this, yeah, this is site index for us, right?
Site map, right?
Yep.
And but when I first went there, there was nothing in
I
there.
just told you why it wasn't.
Yeah, it just showed up.
So now you know why it wasn't, it's fixed, so
It's fixed.
Yeah, I thought it was going crazy.
let's talk about, well, I don't know about that,
Yeah,
but I can't say one way or another. But all I can say is, it's fixed now, so let's move on to the next thing
It
we
was,
have.
it was. Okay. Yeah, you.
I want to talk about whatever next thing you have, but this is fixed, so.
Okay. So I was going through what was redundant, and I came across this thing called a, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. A directory. You said there was, you told me there was a directory in there?
No, I just told you there was a
There's a
site
site
address.
index.
Yeah, but there's, inside our site, there is a little thing called a directory. And it's actually just a repeat of what we already have in that page. So that whole directory piece is not really needed, right? It's got the exact same information.
Oh, I don't,
Well, if it's there,
Yeah,
well.
well, I've got a better
it's a
idea for
pointer,
the space.
but-
Yeah, just take it out, just whack it. But anyway, I thought, you know what, given the fact that we could pull that, remove the directory, and we could add a table of contents and a site map, just like we have in
I
other
already have the
sections.
site now.
You do. Okay.
Twice, you can get at it twice.
Yeah, okay, so your site map does show up, and,
Like I said,
yeah, right there. And one of them saying town hall, what?
bring us something new, Jack.
Okay. Okay, we have table of contents in there. I'm just kind of letting, by the way, I do apologize for the outburst of last week.
Just move on.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
9:30.
It's okay, whatever. It's tax abate, okay.
It's 9:30, it's too late to apologize.
I'd like to add, okay, you go play,
Sorry.
did you go to the search engine? We don't have a search engine in ours. The town has a search engine hidden off in the corner, right? I go home, play it one time, and I get a set of information that looks like this. I put in the word tax abatements, right? So I get this. Then, later on, I get something that looks like that. Same dates. One of them is using the old software that we had, the system that was sitting up there, and it's now referencing the new. So the stuff that we had out there and that we've changed and gone all over the place, it's still sitting there. It needs to get extracted.
Well, she's been keeping stuff out there in case anything needs to come back.
It's in the search, all I know is the search engine is finding all the old stuff. Okay, and then, just that one of the things that if you look at the Board of Health, they have a section that's dedicated to revision controls. And when they did things, we do not have anything that's puts in there that touches revision controls at all. So anyway, we should be putting that in there, because we know when we've made changes to things and what needs to get changed, because that was one of the things that got pointed out.
Yes,
Is
you
that
know.
you can have it, you can have this whole thing.
So,
so you know the age of the dock and stuff.
directory,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was the second thing? No, directory, that was the second thing you mentioned, which was,
Okay.
oh, the search engine.
Search engine is pulling up old
Is
stuff.
squirrely, because it's got the old stuff in there. Yeah, we do use table of contents in these. You can come up with a hybrid that basically, we've got the site map, and you just go to another level and you're good. And then,
So,
So that's in there already,
rev control, you had the rev
That's in
control
I
for,
couldn't hear.
the table's in there,
We have it, the site map is in there,
yeah.
but the table of contents is, you know, when you open a book, you go to a chapter, and then it's got the name, and it's got the whole
Yeah.
pieces. Well, we haven't gone to that second level, that's all.
Oh,
So,
who did you said had the rev control, Board of Health, Board of,
Board of Board of Health,
How's that?
They have revision controls.
okay. We'll take a look at that.
Yeah, so there you go, okay. Anything else point out?
Is that it?
Can't read the copy.
I
That's it
know,
for
it's
now.
Okay,
I
cool.
wasn't trying to do anything more than.
No,
You guys
this is great.
Take a look to see what I can clean up.
As we've said right along, this is going to be a continuing thing, we're gonna keep
And-
making fixes as we find them.
Yeah, and I
So
made
those are three things that we can at least take a look at and see what we can do.
a critical mistake when I first started the project. The first rule is you always talk to the people doing the work, the one who know the most about it. I kind of imagined it, I brought it back to you guys, you kind of imagined it, reimagined it, but the reality was, you're the one that's answering the phones, you're the one that's hearing the questions. You know what, you should just feel real comfortable in moving stuff around, just share it with us,
Well,
and as long, that's how. I'm
we
feeling.
reached an agreement that we wouldn't make any changes unless the board agreed.
Right.
So let's stick
Yeah.
with that unless you want to make another motion.
No. Kara's already made a motion, she goes, I'm not changing the goddamn thing. Oops,
Oh.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that. Gosh darn thing. Unless the board approves it. So we have that safety
Okay.
gap. Okay.
Anything else about the website we want?
No, I like it,
Fabulous.
Well,
It's
it's
much-
great, and I know there's other stuff we have to be putting in there in the other section, so.
it's much closer to what we thought it was gonna be.
Yeah, that,
So let's
It's a lot
let's
bigger.
take that as a win and
Keep running.
fixing it.
Do you want us to have Kara put the old versus new on the website?
Old versus new.
The report we got from Vision of the values, old versus new.
Oh,
Oh,
Should we put,
we do,
upload that?
once,
once the tax rate is approved,
Right.
I think you should put on
right,
a whole by location.
By location.
Not the old versus new, but by
By
location.
location?
yep. That's
They
what
have that same
typically,
thing on a property card?
sorta. But this way, they don't have to go through property card after property card, they can
Just
look
see
at
it.
down the list.
Yeah.
We
So,
can get
And
that.
they've had that before, so I think
Remember
that,
what-
that's a good idea.
yeah.
I think I'll
I can upload it tomorrow.
Cool. Details and development of an assessing calendar, we'll get to that someday. We know what the DOR asks us to do, but then we have steps in between that we probably ought to figure out. And like this year, we thought we'd have information from Vision on September 1st. Sorry.
We dream big.
We didn't make it.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this,
Yeah, just a quick question, jumping back to your presentation. You're gonna send that to these folks, these board, select people,
Carter, I don't know, Carter may.
in advance?
Carter's probably gonna want to have a package for them ahead of time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, and give them time to read it, that's the
And-
problem.
Yeah.
That part of the communication, we're gonna leave up to Carter,
Yeah,
I think.
I just hope I have all the information in time, because it's under 2 weeks away.
Did you talk about Munis? Oh, yeah, we did, okay.
Yeah,
we'll talk
yep,
about
yep,
it.
we heard,
Um,
To the club.
yeah.
Anything on policies that we want to address tonight, or can we maybe not do that? Unless there's something pressing on policies, I'm gonna move on. Upcoming meetings, we definitely can schedule something for November 20th.
Yep,
That'll,
Can you do that?
all likelihood be in the town hall.
I already have it
November 20th?
scheduled for the November 20th. and the
Have the classification hearing on the 19th.
The night
I will
before.
not be attending, but
And we
have
are,
fun, you
the
guys.
board is expected to attend.
Okay.
The board, the rest of the board is expected.
What time is that meeting?
I
Six?
believe it's 7 o'clock.
Okay.
It might be.
It's hard to estimate the time. I think they start at 6, but it's
I think
estimated.
I don't know.
And we,
Joe probably knows what time they
we need
start.
to have that one.
The
meeting.
board of selectmen,
What time they start?
Their regular meetings are at 7.
Oh,
7.
it is at 7, okay, so,
But they have a few things to go through before
yeah.
they introduce us, so.
Any chance of keeping our Wednesday meeting short?
The 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, the agenda comes from her.
If you want to keep it short.
I can keep it short.
Well,
It's
Um,
We
just,
can take a lot off.
it's just
that
a lot of
agenda.
meeting. It's a
It
lot
is.
of meeting.
The other thing is we need to have a meeting the first week in December.
I have a
Linda's
conflict on the
available,
4th,
not available on the 4th.
but I can accommodate any other day.
Is there any other day that we can do something?
I was gonna say Friday.
All the buildings are closed and they don't
Yeah,
work.
I know,
Oh,
I know.
good.
The
I'm
fifth,
not gonna make it the 4th either.
Okay,
You can't do Tuesday, could you do Monday? I think it's the 1st. No, actually,
Wednesday's the 4th.
Monday
Tuesday's
is,
the 3rd.
Monday is the second.
2nd. December 2nd.
I can do it.
Sarah might not be able to.
I'm a maybe. I think we should schedule it, I'll let you know.
Okay,
I have to move something.
November 2nd?
December
December.
2nd.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we're
December
in.
2nd, I know, look down. I looked at the wrong line.
I know.
So, and that right now is tentative.
Yeah,
We'll do it if we can. We do need to find a location. We'll have to line up all the resources.
Okay. So do
Well, we
you
got
want
Joe.
me, do you
We got
want me to line them up? Because I've lined up the 20th, the 9th, well, actually the 20th I have lined up.
Yep,
mhm.
So just because there's a lot of other boards.
Yeah,
Ellen had said, you know,
Should try
getting
this
your
one,
request
yeah.
early because
Oh my gosh, it's
with
horrible.
everybody requesting.
Told you, the biggest headache that I got wasn't the
Was trying to
abatements
get
and
them
crap, it was
in.
trying to figure out the logistics of making up a meeting.
yeah. Well, this one I did virtual, I watched you. I was like, no.
So could I schedule is the 18th good for everybody? Wednesday, the 18th, December 18th?
I know, it's just for Christmas, but.
Yeah, I can do it.
So Monday, December 3rd, and Wednesday, December 18th.
I'm gonna bet, oh, no, I'll be okay, I'll have done a colonoscopy that day, does that help?
TMI, anybody?
I don't know if I'll be awake for it, that's all. I'll make it, I'll tell you all about it.
Is there anybody out there?
No!
No, we don't need to hear that.
No!
Is there anybody out there in the public that would like to speak? No? Anybody at the board like to make an announcement? Pronouncement? Have any further comments? Hearing none? I think I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Hi.
Aye. Good night, everybody. 9:35. 31. That's wrong.